Welcome, Keto Rock Stars. This is your host, Rockin' Coach Amy, and tonight we have with us Thomas, Target Prime Rib, aka Captain Prime Rib. Welcome tonight, Thomas. Thank you for
Hey,
coming.
how you guys doing? I'm doing pretty well, Amy. How you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. I'm better now that you're here
Oh,
on my
oh,
channel.
I don't really hear that very often, so thank you.
And just so you know, I have posted Thomas's channel. I've pinned it to the top of the live stream. So please, if you are not subscribed to his channel, please take a minute to go do that. Like, subscribe, and share because he makes great content every day. And he does a lot of these one on one interviews that are really special. So please go out, take time to do that. Let's say hi to a few people before we get into your story. We've got Sherry, Nevada Pup here. Welcome, Sherry. Carrie's here, pulling the boat up to the live stream. Welcome, Carrie. We have Lynn at 22 Q Cat is here, telling everybody hi. Uh, Jerry says, so this is where all the cool kids are. Good evening, Amy and the gang. Welcome, my sister Jerry. I hope you're having a great night. Let's see. Oh, Coach Juliet is here. Welcome, Coach Juliet. Thank you for joining us. Let's see. Lambs is here. Lambs. Welcome, Lambs. I think this is the first time that you have been on my channel. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us. And Carrie says, I'm no rock star. Yes, you are. And look who's here. Louis Lotito says, woof. I thought it was meow. I thought you're a meow person, not a woof person. Welcome. And John is here. Hi, John. Thank you for joining us. And our good friend Don Schonger is here in the house. Welcome, everybody. Sandy's here. Hi, Sandy. Wow. And Evelyn or Evelyn. Wow. She's here. We love our Evelyn. She's one of our awesome rock star moderators on this
I
channel.
know, like I'm amazed by what she can do. You know,
And you're slacking, Carrie. I'm really disappointed you don't have a joke ready. I'm waiting for it to come. And then we have Josephine C's here. Howdy, Rockin' Riblets. So Josephine must be from your channel, but she's been on my live streams before, I'm pretty sure. Our good friend Schmoovy. Am I saying that right? Schmoovy42. I always say Schmoovy.
I don't know if it's schmoovy, but
I, I put a little swagger into Schmoovy.
you're swell.
Yes. Oh, we're already getting into it now. Brian Fly Fisherman Dish is here. Oh, let's yeah, and Lewis says, I mean, meow, because he's got like 9 cats or something.
He has 10
Let's
cats.
see. 10 cats, 10 cats.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. He does everything in evens. He doesn't do any odds. Yeah.
and Carrie says, I thought I had some good food purchases and I have the freezer, which I thought was a good investment, and I'm having financial stress. Now I have to use Keto Chow and what I have till next paycheck. Well, sending prayers your way, Carrie, that some things work out for you. Okay. I think I've said hi to everybody.
Yes.
So, um,
Now I
oh,
have.
hold on. Well, one more person. This is my dad. Hi,
Hi,
Dad. This is Jim.
hi, Amy's dad.
JAD608. Okay. So now I've said hi to everyone. So, Thomas, let's talk about your story. And you can start wherever you want to. I know you've told your story a million times or several times, but tell us about your carnivore journey and how you got started.
Okay. So I started carnivore fully, like everybody knows, 10 months ago. October 1st was my 10-month anniversary. So pretty soon it's going to be my 1 year anniversary on January 1st. So that's actually pretty exciting. But I actually was on and off carnivore for many years before that. And like whenever, like, and when I say on and off, it's like when I was home, I would pretty much eat carnivore. But every once in a while I would get depressed. I would get like just some feeling of just wanting, like, I now if I have a cookie now, it's because my blood sugar is low. It's not really because of depression. So I would just do
Mm-hmm.
it to kind of raise the blood sugars a little bit. And when I say low, I mean like it's like 50, like really low. And But when you're in rehabs and stuff like that, or if, like when I was visiting my sisters, I didn't have enough power to fight what she has, like the food that she would have there. And believe it or not,
Mhm.
the video that I showed of her refrigerator, that's nothing compared to what she usually has. Times everything by, like, she'd have croissants, brownies, cupcakes, like all this stuff, And now she's kind of calmed down a little bit for whatever reason, I don't know. And but like I was going on and off. Like rehabs never have the right food, And I mean, like they have the rules of, if you're on a diabetic diet, you need to eat the grains, you need to eat the carbs, and the funny thing is they disguise it in a way of like, well, we know carbs are bad for diabetes, so you just need to moderate your carbs. You need to, well, how do you moderate carbs? Either if they're bad, it's not easy to do that, like at least not for me. I don't know about you,
Right.
but it's not easy to do that.
Nope.
And I one day saw a video with Sarah Hallberg. It was a TED talk, and I only watched like one. Like actually, it's probably the only video. No, there was another time I did see her on a documentary, but that was the only time I really saw her. But what she said on that video struck a chord. Okay, she said that carbs raise your blood sugar and that fats lower it. That it doesn't move your blood sugars, what's like very little. And then proteins are sort of like middle of the road. Okay. So, and when she means fat, she means animal fats. So logic went into me and said, well, if that's the case, then maybe carnivore is the way I should be going. At least ketovore, at least keto.
Mhm.
And the less vegetables and less carbs I eat, vegetables are a carb. Oh my God, who would have ever funked that? Like it's a carb basically. So any carbs I eat, because people will be like, well, don't you need the fiber? Don't you need this? So I did a lot of I did a lot of learning on how cholesterol is not as bad as we think. How we've been brainwashed into thinking cholesterol is the killer and everything. Um, how fiber, we need fiber. I've been on carnivore for about 10 months. Haven't had, I think the only fiber I had was I had like one day, like 1 week, I had a jar of pickles and I finished the jar in a week. It took me a week to finish the jar. So like one pickle each, like one or two pickles a meal for like 1 week, and that was the most fiber I had, and so everything was defunct basically. And then when I think it was on Carrie's channel where he had mentioned, and it was probably from somebody else that mentioned it, because I think everybody's mentioned it at least once, that like to think about cholesterol as like we've been thinking about the fire, and that's been hurting us, and we're really should be thinking of it as the firemen trying to help us,
Mhm.
you know
Yes.
and like all these things come about, they go into our heads and everything like that, because you think about cholesterol. I never really paid attention to cholesterol, but cholesterol is probably the main reason why people are reluctant to do carnivore. If you really
Mhm.
think about it, it's probably the one thing that's like, well, I think carnivore sounds great, but what about the cholesterol, you know and I still did it even when I didn't really know fully about the cholesterol, because I didn't really care about the cholesterol. But there's a lot of people that are reluctant to do carnivore because of that reason, you know. And so I did that. And I'm sorry if I like kind of like lose track. I still have like that like my brain is like sort of like, I'm only 53, but my brain is sort of like 89, And and so
So,
I kind of go.
what got you to this point? Were there health issues, weight issues?
Oh yeah, well I guess, yeah, I kind of skipped that story, didn't I? So I was always a little unhealthy. I was an overweight. I was, well, about 12, 13. I was a very overweight child. I was actually skinny as a rail before that, but I gained a lot of weight. I didn't have many friends. I got made fun of a lot, Um, and I would actually, at the age of 14, when I had my first job, just to give you an idea of what I would eat, I'd go to the local once a week when I got my paycheck. All right. I go, and back then I only got paid. What was my paycheck back then? Oh, 275. It was, well, no, actually at that time it was like 375 an hour. So you can imagine how far back that is, considering like what's the minimum wage now? 15. And I would go to the local 7-Eleven and I would get a whole sub, right? And they made it right there. So they'd give me extra meat and stuff like that with all the stuff. I didn't get veggies or anything like that because I didn't really like veggies on my sandwich. It was just the meat with some mustard. That was it. But I'd get the whole big sub, about like this big. Then I would get a bag of potato chips, sometimes 2 bags of the small potato chips. And then I would get a thing of cheese dip. And I would get 6 Laffy Taffies. I don't know if you know what Laffy Taffies are. Back then, they were only in the squares. They weren't in the long tubes that they are now. And because I thought, oh, to give me some humor, the Laffy Taffies, those jokes. And then I would get 3 candy bars and 2 cupcakes. Sometimes just 3, and but there were times where I got all 5. And then I would get a buttered roll, because how can you go to 7-Eleven and not get a buttered roll? That would be sacrilege. And then I would get a 3-liter bottle of soda. And back then I didn't do diet soda. I did regular soda. I get a 3-liter bottle, which I don't know if they make 3-liter bottles anymore. I think only the dollar store sells 3-liter bottles. It's like some background, backwood type soda. But back then is when 3-liter bottles first came out, and I would do 3.
I don't remember those.
No.
I'm close in age to you. I'm 49, so I'm a few years younger, but I don't remember 3-liter bottles.
Yeah. They came out like when I was about 4.
Oh, yes, I do. Those were the giant.
Yeah, the giant with the big caps and everything.
Yes.
I'd get 3, and no lie, I'd go home, just cut across somebody's yard and go home. And because God forbid I walk the whole long way around, okay? Then I would go home, no lie. I didn't even have to put it in the refrigerator. I'd go home, go in my room. I had a TV in my room, okay? Back when they just had regular TV, it wasn't even a flat screen. And I would actually, or I'd go down in the basement, but that wasn't more until I was 16, because I actually made a room down in the basement with my grandfathers. And I would eat all that within an hour, 2 hours, and then do it again a week later. And that was sometimes I get like candy bars within the week, and here and there. But I did that every single time, every week. And that was my meal, and then later on I did, as I got older, I then went to McDonald's, went to Burger King, went to after work, and I would eat all this food, And then when I found out I was diabetic, then I slowed down. Sorry about the coughing. When I slowed down, I was kind of told that you still want to have carbs. So I still was mixing in the carbs. I was trying to be as good as I could, but it never dawned on me to get rid of the carbs. Like, I think when you're in a situation like I was in, I think you have to be extreme. So many people are like, well, you're going to hurt yourself, or, you need the vegetables. Like, you have no vegetables whatsoever. You have not, like, no, not really. If I do, it's very, very rare. Okay. Because I think when you're in a situation like me, and this is how bad my situation got. Okay. I think you have to be extreme on what you're going to do for yourself. Now, when I get better, and I'm still on that journey, it's a journey. Every one of us is a journey.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we're doing is a journey. Now, some people are further along in the journey, but still a journey nonetheless, And it got so bad for me, a few things happened, okay? One, I got the diabetes, which in retrospect, I think I had it all along. I think I had insulin resistance way before I was diagnosed with diabetes, but unfortunately, they don't look at that. So they look at the blood sugars, and the only reason I found out I was diabetic was because what happened was I actually was coming home from work. I was actually working for formal wear. So I was coming home from my job in formal wear, and I felt a pain in my left arm. Now, I didn't know what the pain was, but I read or heard, whatever you want to call it, that, because I don't do much reading. I'm like Mitch. I don't really, I do some reading, but I don't do a lot. Okay. 'Cause my brain goes all over the place. And I heard along the grapevine that pain in the left arm going straight down the left arm could be an indication of a heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little nervous. So I'm like, okay, I can't. My mom's friend was like, you can't risk this. So you need to. Why don't you go to St. Francis, because I lived in Trenton at the time, and so I went to a Catholic hospital. I went to St. Francis Hospital. Okay, and they did an EKG and nothing was wrong. I was fine. They're like, you're perfect. What are you talking about? So then I went to the nurse and just a conversation, like she's like cleaning everything up, taking the stuff off me because I had an IV in me and everything like that. And she taking it out, and I said to her what I had at Burger King. I got Burger King, I got all this food. I'm not going to go, but the one thing I will mention is I had a supersized. This is back when they had supersizing. Well, supersized was McDonald's. I'm not sure what they called it for Burger King, but I had Dr. Pepper. So as soon as I mentioned all the food I had and the Dr. Pepper and everything like that, she's like, let's test your blood sugar. Well, right then and there, I was about 398 was my blood sugar. So she
Whoa.
goes, you need to talk to your primary doctor, and the primary doctor was like, oh, how do we know you're diabetic? Maybe we should look at it again in a few months. But then my mom's boss, she was diabetic. She had prenatal diabetes. And and she had an endocrinologist, and she goes, here's the name of my endocrinologist. Why don't you go to him and check? And then when I saw him, his name was Dr. Cannon, very nice guy, but I only saw him for a few weeks. He goes, no, if you're 398, you're diabetic. There's no way around that. Okay, like we don't need to do another A1C test. You're diabetic. Okay, so and I figured blood sugar was the only way to tell if you're diabetic. I didn't know about insulin resistance at the time. I didn't know about all this stuff. And, he said, oh, you need to keep your carbs low. You need to do this. You need to, so we did the carb manager and all that stuff. And it wasn't enough, but fast forward. Okay. I was 30 when this happened. So fast forward.
Okay. Time out. Before you go on, I want to address Carrie's question here.
Oh, sure.
Real quick.
I'm sorry. I wasn't even reading.
It's okay. He says, what am I doing wrong? I had a good weight with Carnivore, and for some reason, I can't get the weight back on. I am a man, 6'3", and 179 pounds. Need advice. I have a thought on this. Look at Rick. Rick is like, what, 6'5", and he's extremely thin.
Yeah.
That's very thin, Carrie, but maybe that's where your body wants to settle in. And maybe increase your fat a little bit. I mean, I'm eating high fat and I'm gaining a bunch of weight I don't want to gain. So, but Rick says he can't gain weight. I don't know what your thoughts are, Thomas, real quick. We'll go back to your story.
I mean, my question is, okay, so how long have you been noticing that you're not gaining any more weight? Like, how long have you been trying to gain the weight? And are you actually losing more weight? Like, you're at 6'3" at 179 now, but did you lose like 5 pounds like within a week?
Yeah.
Because this might be your stability. This might be your wheelhouse. And look at Rick. Like, Rick hasn't changed. He's probably, he hasn't lost any more weight. He hasn't gained any more weight in the many years. Like, he's pretty much at the same weight.
Carrie has talked about his struggle with obtaining food too. So maybe he's just not eating enough.
That's true too. I don't really, especially I don't really like to mention other people's things, but I'm part of 3 different groups. And I don't know, Carrie, if you're a part of any other groups, but I'm actually a part of Kilts. I'm part of Carrie Mann's Healing Humanity. I'm also part of Bella's SBG. And what might actually help you is, this comes to my mind is maybe doing priming, with Coach Raymond Nazon. Even if you only go on for like a month or two, join their group and do priming for like a month or so. And that might actually help you be able to learn, because sometimes we without even thinking, we end up just eating less because our brains like automatically tell us. We've been going for so long, it's sort of weird. Like we're told to eat less but more often, where really it should be more like eat less often but eat more at your plate, and try to
Mm-hmm.
stretch as much as you can. And I have times when I'm not hungry either.
Yep.
And that's a suggestion that you might want to try. I'm not saying you should do it, but I'm just saying that it might be something you want to try. And that's the only. I mean, if it was somebody else that was doing something similar, I would be like, okay, go to them, because I mean, I love Kilts because he doesn't cost, but with your to learn how to eat more, the priming might be good for you. And
Yep.
it's just a suggestion, but that's
That's a
it.
good idea.
You know.
Okay. Back to you were 31. What happened when you were 31? I'm bringing you back.
Okay. Well, I was 30 when I found out. You know, great thing to find out on your 30th birthday, like not on my 30th birthday, but still when you're 30. And sorry, the only way I'm reading the chats is actually through YouTube because I can't see it on the computer. So because I want to see you and me be big.
Right.
And so fast forward, okay, and I started having some issues with my feet. Okay, feet started getting really tight all the time. I just was having a hard time, and I was starting to like not moody, but forgetting things. A lot like you think that most of you have brain fog. I was the master of brain fog. All right. One of the reasons why I had to leave my job of doing the tuxedos for 25 years is because I kept on leaving on the the pressing table overnight, and I thought I was turning it off. I even like take notes and do checkups and everything like that. And my boss would come the next day and be like, "You left it on again." So after a while, I was just like, "Okay, I don't know why I'm leaving it on." I thought I was turning it off, and he could see that I was genuine with that. And I said, I think I need to quit my job, and I think I need to, because you can't have somebody that's unreliable. That's gonna harm you. So I left, and then I ended up getting a job with a car dealership, and I was there for about 8 months, 6 months, something like that, and long enough to get my benefits, long enough to get health benefits, and I did full time and everything like that. And what made them so crummy was two things that they did. It was crummy was they actually cut my health benefits when I had to go to the hospital. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks, and this is when I started finding out about my foot. And I was getting antibiotics and everything like that for 2 weeks. And they, out of nowhere, they just closed my health insurance. I couldn't pay for my hospital bill or anything. Like they screwed me. Okay. And when I got back, I had 150 clients, 150 people I was calling that I had leads, not really clients, but I had leads, possibilities of making some sales. They took it from 150 to 10. They cut me down. Okay. Then the sales manager goes to me and says, because we used to have like 4 different ways of contacting you. You either do a video that you could send to the client of you saying, hey, today's this day, why don't you come by? Then there's also email and texting, and of course the phone call. Well, they said I can't text anymore, I can't email anymore, and I can't do I can't do a video call. So I can only call. So my job with only 10 people for 8 hours was to call, hang up, and keep on going. So think about it. If you only have 10 people and you're doing this for 8 hours every 30 seconds, and like take a half an hour out for your breaks, how many calls are you making to different people? You would probably get pretty frustrated that this person's
Yeah.
calling you. So those 10 people like pretty much dropped me, and it was like they were trying to. It felt like they were trying to sabotage me. So then I had another problem where they end up like just like okay, where I was like I had another issue with the work, and I was going to try to file for bank workman's comp, and they pretty much just let me go. And I probably could have done something with it, but I needed to go on with my life. So I was out of work for about a month, and then I found the job at Value City Furniture, which is just like Papa Carnivore. I actually worked in
Mm-hmm.
a furniture store, and I did that, but it was a lot of walking around. Like Peter will tell you, it's a lot of walking around. You're hustling when you go into a furniture store. You don't think of it, but you know how Aaron does like 15,000 steps. Well, I probably was.
Yes.
Like the only time I did more than that was when I was working with tuxedos during prom season. Then you're doing a lot of running around. And, um, so I worked there. And then one day I had this issue that I, I noticed my foot was really, really hurting me. Now I can't really see because I'm not small, so I have a hard time bending, and everything. I was very stiff. And I went to the doctor's office, and I just gotten insurance again, and I just gotten I actually got a podiatrist. So I'm like, let me have my feet are pretty bad, and I finally got I got a podiatrist and went there, and he goes, well, you have diabetic foot ulcer, and I actually had a hole in my foot about like that big, okay, right inside the heel of my foot. So, and it was actually becoming gangrene. He's like, you need to go into the hospital right now. So I was out of work for like a month. And they never cut my insurance. They actually kept it. They didn't do the crummy thing that the other job did. And they were very good and everything like that. And I tried for short term like unemployment, and later on short-term disability and all that stuff. And I ended up having to leave the job. But that was the start of all the problems. Now fast forward a little bit more, had several more problems with the heel. I actually had about 6 operations on the heel. And then I had a couple of operations on my other foot, where I had the first operation was getting rid of my big toe. And then later on, I had to get rid of my, so total I had about like 9, 10 operations, I think. And then I had to get rid of, which I think they call a transmersal or transmersal something, And so I have all 5 toes removed from my foot.
Wow.
Right foot. All 5 toes are gone. And which a lot of people are shocked that I can even walk without a cane because, my balance is
Because of
bad.
the balance.
Yeah, pretty much. They were actually shocked though back when I had my toe missing, the one toe. So when I had all 5 toes, it really shocked them. So I did that. Now when they did the big toe, okay, it took about 2.5, 3 months for it to heal. Okay. So when they did the other 4 toes, I was having some issues, and I was calling out sick from work a lot, and or going to the hospital, like different things, not staying for the whole day because hospitals are the way they are. And I would actually, so one day I go to my doctor, my foot doctor, and this time it was actually a different guy because I moved to where I moved and everything. So it had to be a different guy, and very nice guy. And I asked him, like, what do you recommend? And right away he said, well, if you remove the other 4 toes, you should start healing. You should start getting better. Now, I don't know why he made the decisions he made, but I was under the impression when he told me about it, I was under the impression that they were going to take the 4 toes and that the healing was going to be about the same because he was going to take it, close up the foot, right? And then I would just have to heal the stitch, that area would have to heal, and I'd be off my feet for like a couple months, but that was it. I'd be able to go back to work and everything should be fine. Now, deep down, I knew that that's probably too good to be true, but you still want to believe it. So you still do, and I just wanted to get better. I just wanted to do whatever it took to get
Right.
better. And and sometimes you have to make the hard decision to do it, even if you don't want to do something. You just make the hard decision because you think that's your only option. So I had the operation, but ends up that he didn't close it. He left it open. Now my foot's always wrapped. I either had a nurse that came to the house, or I actually had to go to wound care, and they would wrap it for me like at least once a week. I'd have to keep it wrapped. Sometimes I even had to do it myself, and I had stuff called wound vacs,
Mm-hmm.
which I don't know if you know what a wound vac is, but it's basically this bandage that goes over the wound, and it pretty much like vacuums and helps the tissue grow in your body to get brand new tissue. And why he kept it open, he probably said, but I don't remember what it was, Probably because I was like so like in awe, disappointment of like having it open. So this thing's open for close to a year and a half. Okay. And so I'm going in and out of rehabs and stuff like that, you know, and I I think that because of being open, it caused infection to go. I was more susceptible to get infections, and which tells my next story that has nothing to do with my feet, but has to do with still my health. So when I got out of the rehab, I was having a really hard time sitting, moving. Like the pain was excruciating. Was really horrible. So I actually was there coincidentally. So I had my wheelchair, okay, and at that time I had Medicaid, so I had some benefits, some perks of having Medicaid, including rides to any medical facility that like any appointments I needed to go and stuff like that, which was really great. And so I had, you know, somebody took me in my wheelchair, and so I was in the wheelchair in the hospital already, and I said about the pain, and one of the girls, the nurses, was like, "Well, why don't you go into the ER after you do this? Have them check it out." So, um, you know, so I went in there. I went in there, went to the ER, and they gave me an IV of Tylenol. Said it will go through my system a lot faster. Okay, hopefully you're right. So I went in, and there was a section that was better, but I still was in a lot of pain. So I told them, you know, like, how long does this take to work? Because it was like about like a half an hour later. Like, how long does this take to work? And the girl goes, "Well, it should be instantaneous. You should start feeling really good, like as soon as we gave it to you." Well, no, I didn't, you know? So I said, maybe we could look and see what's going on. She goes, well, we can't because we already filled out your papers to go home. So I'm like, okay, I don't really understand what that has to do with anything, you know, like why can't you look, you know? And so we kind of talked back and forth a little bit. And I said, so let me get this straight. If I was having a heart attack right now, you would say to me, come back tomorrow because we already gave you the discharge papers. Like we already filled out the discharge papers. You know, like you didn't give them to me, so why don't you just rip them up, you know? So I just was like, okay, you know, like you can't change stupid. So I was just like, fine, this is your policy, you know, something against you, but it's a stupid policy, basically. So I go back there about 2 days later, 2, 3 days. Now, this whole thing is around my birthday. Okay. So, which is why my birthday was so, why I was celebrating it so much this time. Now you guys going to understand why I was celebrating it so much. So I go back there a couple days later, and I noticed I hadn't gone to the bathroom in like 5 days. Now I wasn't really worried about it, but I thought maybe it's something that should be mentioned. So I mentioned it to the doctor. I was there for like 16 hours. They actually, whatever reason, they actually unwrapped my foot, you know, and even though the foot was pretty much healed and like pretty much sealed up, I still had like a little bit left, you know. They unwrapped the foot, and I had a really bad back. Like I could hardly move. Okay, they left me open wounded. Okay, for the 16 hours, I had to wrap my own foot with my dirty bandage. Okay, then I got myself into a wheelchair they had because the second time I had to go through an ambulance and they didn't take the wheelchair, so I had to kind of go in a gurney, and I didn't have a wheelchair with me because they couldn't take the wheelchair. So I found a broken wheelchair, you know, and I got myself to it very, very hard to use the bathroom. I didn't have to go, but I thought, I guess my nerves was like making me feel like I had to go. And I had to do all this stuff. So then I go back and I'm like, I can't move. So I'm like using the pain, but the pain, I would have had the pain no matter what. So I just stayed in the wheelchair. About a half an hour later, a security guy comes up to me and she points to me like, yeah, he's one of them too. Okay. Now, during that, this is around like 4 in the morning, and they end up taking in homeless people and letting them stay there to get some shelter. Okay. And he wheeled me out and said, okay, it's time to go now.
Did he think you were homeless?
I don't know. I don't know. I felt like he felt like that. I don't know if he felt that way, but he was being ordered by the doctor. So the doctor knew that I wasn't homeless, that I was an actual patient. And and he wheels me out and they kick me out of the hospital, you know? So obviously the next day I called up and complained, and the administrator obviously was not very happy with what was going on, because he's like, yeah, you're on here as a patient. You're not on here as one of those people that we're giving shelter to. You're in here as an actual patient. And she gave me like a prescription for some kind of laxative or whatever that I never used. And I was kicked out of the hospital. So a few days, like, I was going to go back because I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, no matter what, I'm just going to stick with it. But obviously the pain got so bad, I could hardly, the extreme of me not moving got even more. So
Okay, time out. Hold that thought, Thomas. One thing I want to mention is Dustin says that you look
I
younger than
saw.
him and he's 46. And then also, I think there's a little bit of drama going on in the chat.
Oh, I'm
So I'm
sorry.
just
Like
going
I
to,
said, I'm not really reading the chat, so I'm sorry.
no, I'm
Drama.
just going to ask, I'm going to skip over the comments that are, there's a little bit of infighting going on. And I'm just going to ask everybody to please try to be respectful to each other. I'm not going to point out anything more than that. I think Evelyn, my moderator, might be taking care of it. But but I want to I don't want to spend a lot of time on that. So I want to give Thomas his floor because this is all about Thomas tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, so they kicked you out of the hospital.
So they
You
kicked
went
me out
back
the
home
second time. I went,
and
then
you were
I got
worse.
really bad, and I had to go back in. So after complaining, I think the doctor this time, either they knew about the complaint and had it like on record, like, this guy, if he comes in ever, this is the service he had last 2 times. So maybe we should look into it a little bit more. So they actually gave me an MRI, they gave me a CAT scan, they gave me an X-ray, they did everything they're supposed to do. Found out that there was actual infection, probably caused by my open wound, okay, that was inside my spine and was causing paralysis. So it was slowly deteriorating my spine. And I was actually, for about 3 to 4 months, I don't know exactly for how long, I ended up, to fast forward a little bit, I was admitted into the hospital. They gave me an antibiotic to help with the infection. I was in the hospital for about 2 weeks, and then for another 3 months, I was in the rehab. I was so bad that I could not, by this point, I could not sit in a chair. All I could do was lay in the bed. I slid all the time. Okay. I actually lost a lot of weight, believe it or not. I actually went down to 207 pounds, like within the first 2 months. I was really, which is really thin for me. I haven't been 207 pounds in a long time. Right now I'm about 230 now, and I've lost weight. So you do the math. Okay. So, I mean, but I was losing all bone strength. I was losing all muscle. I was losing all this stuff. And I was in there, and I was so bad. Like, people had, like, nurses or orderlies had to actually pull me up in order for me to be able to eat. I did like sort of like a unplanned fast. I did a 9-day unplanned fast because I just got so sick that I couldn't even hold down the food. That's how bad I was. And the first 4 days I tried doing on purpose, but then I ended up it just got really bad, and probably wasn't the best thing to do, even though normally it does help you. So I'm in there, and eventually I got better. Now, in the meantime, I had a roommate that drank all the time. She actually, caused some issues. She's very, very low scruples, and marching the chats as you put them on there. I'm sorry.
real quick too. Hi, Gary, Rick, Dustin, and Kelly Broken Carnivore. Let's just say hi to those people real quick. They joined us. Okay, so you had this roommate.
So I had this roommate that actually, her average beer intake was 30 cans of beer a day. So she drank a case of beer daily. Okay. Now I kind of believe, and this is just my belief, okay, that there's two different kinds of alcoholics. There's the functioning alcoholic, and there's the dysfunctioning alcoholic. The functioning alcoholic is somebody that drinks all the time, but can still hold down a job, can still earn the money, still pay their bills. Like, they're not really good to society, but they at least pay their bills. They're not like, and she was doing that for the first 2-3 years. So we kind of kept her in there because she was doing. But then after a while, she became a dysfunctional alcoholic because she decided to quit her job and drink full time. And she became so bad for 5 months, she never paid me rent. So it took about like 2 months for me to kick her out, you know? So she was very, but this is why I'm going through all this, you know? And so obviously she's not helping me out, it's not that I couldn't move. It was that I was in so much pain. The pain was so unbearable that it was hard for me to move. And I mean, like literally, like even just moving an inch would like bring like tears to my eyes, and massive tears. And so I had this back, where I got the infection and everything like that. And and I just had all this hard time and everything. And then I was going on and off Carnivore because I saw again Sarah Hallberg, and then for a while there I was doing the fasting in and out, which I saw Jason Fung, learn from him.
Me too.
And I saw a lot of people like who was it that mentioned Bob Briggs? I forget who it was, but somebody mentioned about
Butter Bob.
Butter Bob. Butter makes my pants fall down or fall off.
Well,
And
it doesn't make my pants fall off because I'm gaining weight
no,
on butter, but whatever.
no, it doesn't. But he lost a lot of weight, and
Mm,
I know a little bit about what happened. At least through the grapevine I heard, and I'm not going to go into that because that's his
that's
thing,
his
not mine.
story. And none of this is medical advice, as Evelyn says.
No, absolutely not. And I hope no one takes his medical advice. But so I saw all these channels. The first channel I watched that is still connected to now is Dr. Barry and Bella. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny story is when I first started with Carnivore, whatever you want to call it, I started way back when my mom was still alive. Now, she died in 2021. And when she was really bad, she had metastatic breast cancer. And she was really, really bad. Eventually, unfortunately, where it traveled to her was it went to her bones.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. And eventually it actually deteriorated the skull. And I think that's why she didn't have dementia, but she sort of had the same thing as dementia. It was kind of connected. And the only thing that would wake her up, that would get her, not even wake her up, she was always awake because she was in immense pain, like all the time. She had to have a special patch put onto her chest for 3 days because that's how strong the pain medication had to be. Like it was so strong. My brother-in-law, he's a former cop, and he actually told me, and God forbid the nurse tells me this, okay, because I had to apply it to her. He told me to put gloves on whenever I applied the patch to her, because if I got the pain onto my hands, it could go through my system and it could actually damage my heart. And I even said to the nurse, I said, "Why didn't you tell me about this?" "Oh, I thought I did." Well, obviously you didn't. Like you should have a check mark thing, like told the customer, like you should have some way of knowing you told me. So God forbid that you do something that's like the right thing to do. And so lucky for me, that's how bad my mom was with pain. Like I had a lot of pain, but I never went to the patch. I never gotten to where I had to have a patch on my chest. So she would only wake up or only get up or sit up when she heard Dr. Barry's voice. Every time she heard Dr. Barry's voice, that's when she sat up and she's like, "Dr. Barry's on. Okay, let's watch him now."
She have a crush?
She had to have, and so it was cute, and she loved Nisha too, she's like, "Yeah, I guess Nisha's a nice person," like that type of thing, so I'm sure she had a little crush on her, on him. And then Bella, she loved Bella because back then Bella used to play the piano
I know.
after all of her videos, and my mom loved to hear her play. I told Bella about that too, and she goes, "Maybe I should do that again." She hasn't, but yeah, I mean, sometimes the old is good. Sometimes you have to go back to what you were doing. I think it goes with a lot of things. Like when you change things around, something's not working. Sometimes you have to go back to what you were doing before.
Mm-hmm.
And
okay, let's say hi to a couple more people real quick.
course.
Lisa Marie is here. Hi, Lisa Marie. And
Lisa.
Brisket Boomers, Amy is here. Welcome. And also, you got another compliment from Gary. Thomas looks younger than me too, and I'm 55. So everyone's got kind of a bromance going on with you looking younger than them.
Hear that or jealousy?
Oh
Like that jerk. Oh my god.
no. That's funny.
You think I look young now? Imagine when I don't have the beard.
It's because as carnivores we age, and keto even, we age backwards.
Yeah.
Even on keto
I've
I look
always,
better.
I believe that, but I've always been told that I look younger. Like people have always told me that, because it's always kind of been a curse in a way, because because so many people treat me like I don't know anything, and I always attribute it to me looking younger. Like, okay, he's not old enough to know. Like, I'll say stuff that, like, I remember when the candy bar, okay, was 35 cents. Okay, I also remember when the newspaper was 25 cents. That's not true anymore,
No,
So
nothing's 25 cents.
So when I say stuff like that, they look at me like, "No, you're not old enough to know the candy bar is 35 cents. There's no way. There's no way."
My dad says you look younger than him too, but he's 81. He'll be
Oh,
81 this month.
yeah.
So
I
that's
I would
funny,
I
Dad.
would now if Mitch says that, then I'll. Actually, did you ever hear the compliment Mitch gave me when I first met him? Okay, you probably haven't because you'd have to see the
No,
actual.
because that was a while ago,
Right.
before I was in that
He actually
community.
did a picture, and he showed what he looked like at my age, like around my age, and his younger picture looks pretty much like I do. So like me and him are like I'm a younger version of Mitch, basically. Now I don't really think I look like Mitch as I lose weight, as I get thinner. I'm not saying I don't, I just don't feel like I look that much like Mitch. But if he wants to say that I'm a younger version of him, so be it. But where were we at? I kind of lost my place. um, I'm sorry.
Oh,
It's
so
my,
you were
my
talking about
80-year-old
your
brain.
mom and crush on Dr.
Oh,
Barry.
Dr. Bear, yeah, and then Bell and everything like that. So we still watched them, but this was also during a time we were doing more keto. So we also saw people like Bob Briggs. We watched him. We watched you might know who they are, Keto Connect, which was a young couple that had a cat, and now they have now they have a young child. I think a little boy. Um, and they were just starting out and everything like that. And then there was some young kid, I forget what his name was, but he had cancer, so she related to him. He was like 18 and was
Aw.
was helping his cancer with keto. At this time, everybody was keto. Even Dr. Barry at this time was keto. Okay, Bella wasn't, but it was like sort of just starting out. And we watched Lily Kane. We saw her, and then Thomas
Yep.
DeLauer.
Yep.
Videos with
I
him.
watched him.
But eventually then after my mom passed away, then I saw Carrie Mann. Okay. And I saw all these people, and Bob Briggs kind of died off, and so did like largely came, but not as much. Sorry, Lily, if you're seeing this. And I still kept up with it. And when Dr. Barry first said about doing carnivore and not doing keto anymore, yeah, just like most people thought he was crazy. Like what? Yeah. But eventually I saw when I saw Sarah Holberg's video and everything like that, I thought it actually makes sense. Logically speaking, carnivore makes sense for diabetics, and so I pretty much, like I said, I've been on and off. But 10 months ago, January 1st, 2025, what happened was I thought I was going to go to a New Year's Eve party at my sister's, and she never had one. So I was home. So I thought to myself, okay, I'll do one more celebration at New Year's Eve. On January 1st, I'm going to become full carnivore. Now, right before that, I don't count this, but right before that, I sent Carrie Mann an email. And he said about like he kind of got me more interested in doing the chats and everything like that. And he sent me a really heartfelt, like, oh my God, you went through a lot. You did all this stuff, like you went through so much. And so he's the first person that I talked to that's in the carnivore community, if you want to count that. But I didn't count starting until January 1st. It's also easy to remember January 1st. It makes it more special. But I did that. and did a few chats. And then all of a sudden I won a contest with Carrie. He had one of his contests, and I actually won um, a Healing Humanity membership
Oh.
on there. And we kind of made a joke because the comment I said, I for some reason I said Allison as one of his daughters, and it's actually Alyssa. And so he like, it's not Allison, it's Alyssa. Like sort of sound like Harrison Ford or something like that. It was just funny. And I tease him about it like every once in a while. And I, that was my first time. And then fast forward, and I won some shirts and stuff like that. I've won a few things from him. I won a couple things from Bella, won a few things from Kilts. Okay. And then it went on. And so then I finally go to Bella. Let's fast forward just a little bit, just a couple months. But right before that, I started doing my channel because I wanted to. My channel is really just meant for me to document my story, and I just thought, okay, let me put it out there and see how many people respond. And I actually first did it because I thought, well, maybe my sister will see, maybe my family will see, and this is my way of telling them what I'm doing.
Uh-huh.
Without actually telling them. Like I will put it out there. I'm not going to say anything to them verbally, but let them process it. Let them do. Okay. So, and they support it, but not full. Like it's like I sort of still have to defend myself and stuff like that in the ways of like when I go to her house, I have to figure something I need to do when I go there and stuff, which is fine. And she never. I don't think the closest I ever had from my family actually seeing my niece actually went on one of my lives once. That's the closest. Like they don't do anything in the chats. They don't do which is fine. And so I go and I'm writing some comments to Bella about, I forget what the situation was, but I'm writing comments to Bella, and it was so long it went to 5 different comments. Like it had to be continued, like part 1 of.
Wow.
And it had to keep on going, and they were getting confused. And I just knew, so Dr. Phil's like, why don't you just email us? So while I'm emailing, I'm like, well, I might as well just tell him the same story I told Carrie. I might as well tell him exactly, the same story I told Dave when I was on his channel, the same thing, and oh yeah, because before that I was on Dave Mack as well. And so I went there, and right after they watched it, I get an email from Lindy, Limitless Lindy.
Limitless Lindy.
Yeah, because she's kind of like like she does like a lot of the stuff. So a lot of the emails are done basically through her. Alyssa probably does them now too, but so I get an email from her saying that we would like you to, we would like to give you a comp membership to be in our group.
Cool.
So, and this is sort of explaining why I'm so loyal to all 3 groups, basically.
Yep.
So, Carrie, I'm obviously, because he was the first person, and they gave me the free membership, and they were very kind to me. And I love Carrie, I love Adam, I love all of them. And they actually, like offered me a comp. Well, then as I'm doing my videos, I get this message from a guy that wants to pay for my membership. He didn't know that I had free membership. And I'm thinking the free membership's only for 1 month. I think most people would think that it's only 1 month to get my feet in the door. So Bella tells this guy, because I said to him, tells this guy, maybe you could give him buy me a coffee or something like that, because he has a lifetime membership comped. So,
Wow.
and I'm sure Bella's okay with me saying, if she's not, I apologize, Bella. But they because of my story, they comped me for the whole time. Okay. So I tried going on as much as I can. It's not always easy. And there's so many people there that need just as much attention as I do. So I try not to, I go on there, but I try not to raise my hand all the time, because there's like 130, 40, whatever. And so I got in there. Then later on, I found out about Kilts being free. Excuse me. So I actually got on to Kilts, and I won a few things. And then later on, fast forward a little bit, later on, Lewis goes to me while I was in it. He's part of Healing Humanity as well. And he privately chats with me, goes, how would you like to go to Boston?
I remember this. Yes.
And I'm like, well, I can't really afford it. He goes, well, what if, like he's like, well, what if you take the train to me? I live in, like pretty much I already knew he lived in New York. I didn't know exactly where, but why don't we make some arrangements and I'll drive from my house to Boston. I just had to figure out how to get to his house. So I took the train and then I took the Long Island Railroad to him. And it was fun. I was a little nervous because of not being there were some things that were a little hard for me even now, like the high steps and all that stuff,
Right.
and the suitcase. If I went without a suitcase, I probably would have made it a lot better. But but I made it. That's the main thing. And I got there, had a great time. I met Carrie, I met Adam, I met Dr. Wiederman, I sort of met Dr. Boz and Thomas Seyfried, but I didn't really talk. I didn't really meet them. Like they were there, but it's like they were kind of unapproachable because there's so many other people there. So hopefully next time I meet them, I'll be able to like push people out of the way and say, "Hey, Dr. Boz," And I sort of like wish I knew I wish Thomas Seyfried because my mom had cancer.
I'm
And
a huge fan of his. I'm
yeah,
obsessed with his
I never really
lectures.
followed his videos, but once I found out about it, because I didn't have cancer, so my mom was already passed away. But I sort of wish that before my mom passed away that I knew a little bit more about him because
Well,
maybe she would have lived a
yeah.
little longer. Um, she was pretty bad, but maybe it would have helped her. And there's a sad story with that too. Not with with Thomas Seyfried, but so next time I'd like to be able to talk to him and to just shake his hand at least. That I'm glad you're helping all these other people. But
So you mentioned something. You mentioned something to me backstage.
Okay.
About The Biggest Loser.
Oh. Okay.
If you're ready to go on to that, I don't know if you had
Oh
more about
no,
your
that's
story.
fine. That's fine. I mean, you guys pretty much know the rest of the story, and I kind of like for you, I actually elaborated it just a little bit.
And I was like, what? Because there's only one person in this space that I know who was actually on The Biggest Loser, and that was Adrian Gledhill.
And maybe this will help me get Adrian Glenn on my channel. And maybe
yes, Adrian, if you're out there listening, which he's not, but I'm friends on Facebook with her.
Never assume, because Mitch proved that to me one time. He actually, and he actually was on your channels with Juliet and Lewis. And Lewis and her, they weren't talking anything bad, but they were talking about Mitch. And I actually texted Lewis because Mitch was like right in there, So I'm like, Lewis, just let you know, Mitch is in the chats, so don't, just because they're not saying anything in the chats doesn't mean they're not there. Sometimes they hide. They like to be anonymous.
Lambs makes a good point here. He says Seyfried would have saved both my parents if I only knew. And I always say, if I ever, God forbid, get cancer, I'm going straight to his protocols.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's me.
It probably would have saved my father too, Lambs, but my parents got divorced when I was like 7 years old. And I maybe saw my father like 5 times throughout my whole life. And that's including my sister's wedding and everything. So he got closer to us when we got older, but as kids, he really didn't. I just don't think later on he was good. He was really good with his step grandchild and all that stuff. But and I wish
Biggest Loser.
Okay.
Biggest Loser. I got to hear this.
So I applied for The Biggest Loser. I forget what season it was, but it was a season where they were starting to do couples. Now, the only person I had that was also overweight was my mom. So I was going to do a couples thing. She came with me. But at the time, she was about 180. I would say maybe a little bit more, maybe a little bit less. But she was 5'4" at about 180 pounds. And, and I went with her. And at that time, I was 379 pounds. I was a big boy. But to be honest with you, I probably didn't get in because even I probably wasn't big enough. I mean, there were guys that were on there for like 500 pounds. And I mean, we saw how extreme they were and everything. So I go in there and we're there for like close to 12 hours. I mean, like we got there around like 5 a.m. and we didn't get to see anybody until about 2:33. And we go in there, and I won't say really what they compensate with or anything like that because I don't know, but they give you pretty good compensation for the time you take off of work and everything. So it was worth it. Okay. So I go in there and I have no idea if we got in or anything like that, but we're there. It was pretty quick. Like it took us that long to wait, but it only took like about maybe 10 minutes to actually be interviewed by them. And I told my story and all that stuff and blah, 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 blah. Told how I came from New Jersey, took the train there and everything. But this is in the middle of, it's like August. And I don't know if like Lewis might be able to relate to this. You outside with all the pavement and everything like that in the middle of August, it gets freaking hot. Excuse my language, but it gets really hot in New York. Okay, like if it's like 90 degrees outside, it feels like it's 120. It's just really really hot. So we're sweating. And don't forget, I'm 379 pounds. I'm wearing this like t-shirt. It's like, like you just felt like a fat mess. Okay, felt horrible. But I'm thinking to myself, like my mom standing out there. She was a lot healthier back then, but my mom stood out there and everything. And I like what you just did, but then the comments cover your face. I don't like that. It's
Hold on, I meant to do this. This is for Rick.
oh
That's for Rick.
man.
Okay. So anyway, the pavement gets so hot.
So it gets really hot. So I'm thinking like, okay, yeah, let's I think we should treat ourselves. Okay, so we're heading home. Now I'm not carnivore, so I'm still able to eat. I'm still eating the bad food and everything, obviously at 379 pounds. So I go to my mom. I said, I don't want to go to Burger King. Let's go to a steak restaurant. So we stop off at the steak restaurant, and she didn't want to go. She did not want to go at all. So we go into the restaurant. I'm like, what's the worst that will happen? They kick us. They say we can't go in there because of how we're dressed, because of how we look. Because she thought it was like top-notch restaurant. She thought it was like you had to dress to the nine and everything. And so we go in there and they accept us. Well, right behind us was somebody I didn't recognize because I had no idea, But some guy followed us that was wearing like not really dirty clothes like us. He was a lot cleaner and a lot less sweaty and a lot thinner, but he comes in after us. Well, they sit us down, and then later on, they obviously a few minutes later they sit him and his wife down, and this big guy, probably about the same weight that I was, this big guy comes up to me, and I had no idea who the guy was. Later on, I found out who he was, and he comes up to me and he actually comps me my drinks. Now and I had no idea why the drinks were being comped. I'm like, okay. So obviously we're going to ask like, okay, that's very nice of you, but why? Why are you like that? Definitely shocked my mom because she's expecting us to be kicked out of the place because how we were dressed, and we end up getting drinks comped. So he goes, well, you see that couple that was right behind you? And I said, yeah, okay, what about them? They go, well, he's a congressman, and he didn't want to come in. He came in because he saw you and your mom come in, and it got him to come in. And obviously this congressman's going to spend a lot of money, so comping the drinks was nothing to him, for me. So I had 2 beers, and I could probably have more, but I didn't want to push it. My mom had 1 margarita, and she was pretty much buzzed after the 1 margarita because she's 5'4". Even at 180, that was a lot for her. And so fast forward, so we got the drinks. I had a nice steak, and I had because I had about $400, so I could have afforded the drinks. But since I didn't have to do the drinks, I had a steak, and I think I might even had like some lobster or something like that. So I had a big, huge, and so we had that. My mom had whatever she had. I forget what it was, and she basically, time went on, and a few months later, we see this show. I don't know if anybody in the chats remembered. You didn't remember. You didn't know the show. But
No, I didn't know the show.
There used to be a show on the Food Network called Restaurant Stakeout, where basically a guy would go to different restaurants, and he had cameras all over the restaurants, and he would actually walk. Do you ever hear bar rescue? You ever hear that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay,
I've
well, it's
heard of
sort of the
these. I
same
just never watched
premise.
them.
It was sort of the same premise where they would see why the restaurants are failing, why the bar, and it was called Restaurant Stakeout, and his name was Uncle Vinny. Well, it ended up that Uncle Vinny was the guy that approached me. So I met Uncle Vinny from Restaurant Stakeout. They don't have it anymore. Obviously, he's still owning his restaurants, but they don't really have it anymore. But he was the guy that approached us, and so like, yeah, we went there to do The Biggest Loser, but we ended up meeting somebody that I didn't realize that was famous. Another group of people that I met that I didn't know who they were was before that. I didn't tell you this in the background, but I actually studied for hotel hospitality. I actually did a little
Oh,
study for that. And I didn't pass or anything like that. I had to leave because I didn't have transportation. I lost it. That's a long story. But I did an internship in Long Branch, and there's a I forget what the name of the place was, and it's probably different now. This is almost like, I think I was like 18, 17, 18 when I did, like 18 probably. And there was a group, I'm sure some of you know who it is, and they were brand new then. I had no idea who they were. But there was a group called the 9 Inch Nails.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
So I'm out there, like, I'm just at this time, I'm not really doing any clean. I'm not really doing, but my job was to learn, was to kind of like learn management of the housekeeping staff and everything. So one of the so I'm talking to this group of men that were by the ice machine, and we started talking about like, I don't really talk about politics a lot, but we're talking about Clinton, because I think Clinton was like in
You're
office
right.
at that time, and also the golf, also like with Saddam Hussein and all that stuff, and we're talking pretty deep conversation, even though we just met. And one of the housekeepers, and she had like no teeth or anything like that, but she was like their biggest fan, and she goes to me and she goes, "Do you know who you were just talking to?" I have no idea. She goes, "That was the 9 Inch Nails. I was actually conversating with the 9 Inch Nails." You know, so I had no idea who they were. A friend of mine, um, I actually went to Boston, and I got the tape for the 9 Inch Nails to listen to, and they're pretty good. They're not really my style fully, but especially not back then. My taste has grown a little bit, but I thought they were okay. They were pretty good. They were worth listening
Uh,
to. And so I met them. So you
That's
know,
pretty cool.
yeah.
You
Sometimes
and Evelyn.
you had no idea you were meeting them, and then later on you find out. So
Yeah, Evelyn's met a lot of famous people too. Okay. So, also, now I'm going to preface this question with, look, regardless of what your thoughts are on this topic, and there's a lot of opinions on this topic. We're not here to have opinions about this topic. This is about Thomas and his story, and this is part of his story. And so, whether you believe in this medication or you don't believe in this medication, that's kind of not the point here. I don't want to start a big controversy, is what I'm trying to say.
right.
But tell us, you recently went on a GLP-1 medication, Thomas, right? Tell us about that experience.
Okay. Well, I did it like because it was recommended from a really good doctor, and and I think it was believed that I would be helped with it. And since they believed that, I kind of believed it too. And I didn't really know too much about it. I just kind of, but I was on Manjaro, and mostly because of recommendation of two great people, you know, and I still value them 1,010%. They're still my favorite, and I mean, I don't want to name names. If they want to say in the chat who they are,
Mhm.
that's up to them. But another person, I'm not going to name his name either because of the same reason, but just on the other end. Well, I was taking the Manjaro for about 5 weeks, and I didn't say anything, but I was starting to feel a little bit of stomach upset, and it was starting to get worse and worse. And I didn't connect it. Maybe I was nervous, maybe I didn't feel well, and I sort of had suspicions, but I just like, no, let's keep on pushing it. Let's keep on going. So I was on it for about 5 weeks. And what happened was I was talking to somebody, and they came to the realization. They actually brought it up. They said, well, how long have you been feeling this way? I said, well, about 4 or 5 weeks. And he goes, well, how long have you been taking Manjaro? I said, well, and then I started like thinking, well, about 4 or 5 weeks. You don't think that has anything to do. Thank you,
It
Lois.
was
I didn't want
Lewis.
to call you
It was
out.
Lewis.
And me taking it, and Lewis has been great every way.
Mhm.
I mean, Lewis is a
He
godsend.
is.
Lewis know that I do think
I'll
that.
vouch for Lewis too.
Yeah. And and I'm sure he'll be okay. The doctor that actually recommended was Dr. Nelson. And so I knew they had my back. They weren't going to try to steer me wrong.
Right.
But I looked up on Google and I didn't look at Google in the way of Manjaro. I looked at what is the main side effect
Mhm.
of GLP-1s. Okay. The first thing that comes up, it's not even like part of like one of 10. It's like the first thing is stomach issues, including gastroparesis. And what was happening to me was after a while, when I first started, I was just having stomach upset. But then after a while, I actually wake up at like 2, 3 in the morning, and I'd be throwing up for like 4 hours. I had to call out of work, so I was missing all this time and everything. And it was causing me issues. And I mean, I'm grateful that I had it, and it was helping to an extent, but unfortunately, it was causing me a major side effect. And so I had to get off it. Now, do I think that, to go by my opinion, can it help some people? I'm sure it can. Okay. I don't think that you should take it though to lose weight. I think that that's, like if you're going to do that, that should be last resort. But for what I was
Mhm.
doing, I was doing it for my blood sugar. I was doing it for my diabetes. I wasn't doing
Right.
even if I gained weight, I would have been fine with that. But, so a lot of people, they fight the drug because they're thinking it, like so many people want it for losing weight, and they're getting mixed up with the concept. It's not meant. It's helping you lose weight, but that's not what the drug was meant for. The drug was meant for diabetes and for to help with our metabolic rate and everything like that. And I don't claim to know everything about Manjaro, but at least I know that part. And um, so if you're doing it for the right reasons and you're just trying to help yourself, then by all means, you do what you feel is right. And that's not a recommendation. That's just
Mhm.
it's your body. You do whatever you feel is right.
I'd really like to see you connect with Adrienne because she does it well. So her story is really interesting, and I'm not going to go into it because that's her story to tell, but it's along the lines of, she has had weight loss. She's not a diabetic, but she's also had a lot of weird inflammation stuff like
Mhm.
mold exposure, and she takes low dose, but she swears because she was eating very strict carnivore and still had terrible issues within her body, and she swears that a low dose of it helps with like her metabolism, and she doesn't get the side effects and the mold exposure, and it helps get her inflammation down to a point. And
And
I
for
was
some people, yeah. For some people, I wasn't even at 5% yet. I was only taking 2.5%. So I was at the lowest dose already. So if the lowest dose is really affecting my stomach, can you imagine if
yeah.
I increased it? Like luckily I stopped it before I went to the 5. And like I said, a really good guy, he helped me out. Okay. And he's the one who brought it up. He's the one who put that, like kind of like in retrospect, there's a connection there. And
Lewis. Sorry. I
I
love
would,
that
I would drink
Manjaro.
that stuff from the
I,
vial. Yes, you probably would. But like I actually believed it. I actually thought it was, but I didn't really connect the stomach issue, so I stopped taking it. and then the stomach issues stopped. I don't have them anymore. It took a little bit. I mean, I had to go back to the apple cider vinegar and stuff like that to get it fully done. But
Yeah.
it's just being calling out of work all the time and everything like that. It just was kind of problematic. And and Dr. Nelson asked me one time. He goes, "Well, did you go back to the Victoza? Because I was taking Victoza before Manjaro." And I didn't, because like I said before, when I looked it up, I didn't ask Google the effects of Manjaro. I asked Google the effects of GLP-1, and that was also Victoza. So I pretty much stopped taking GLP-1 altogether. And it
And
was
has that affected you
it,
adversely to stop taking it?
a little bit. It kind of like the sugars kind of went up, but I was also very nervous. I had a lot of anxiety. Probably worried about my, like it's sort of sad. It's sort of like a catch-21, where you get nervous about your sugars, you see them going up, so your
And
sugars go
then they
even
go up.
higher because you're now nervous about your sugars going up. And everybody that knows who I am knows that my biggest why is to get my A1C down to 5.4. So anything that shows that it's affecting that, it's a problem. Now, I don't know how I'm going to feel later on down the road. Maybe as my diabetes heals and my stomach can take things more, maybe I will go back to Manjaro
Mhm.
as it's getting to a better. But right now, I just think that the Manjaro kind of was doing more harm than it was doing good. Now, I do think that there are some people that can benefit from it. You know,
Mhm. Well,
um,
Lewis is obviously one of them. He does
Lewis,
fine on it.
Adrian.
Adrian.
There's a lot of people that will benefit from it. And and I mean, Lois knows what happened. I've talked. I apologized to him for, I'm sorry I had to get off it. And he's been very understanding and everything. And Dr. Nelson's been a very, like Lois is now my moderator on my channel. I have him and
Good.
Papa Carnivore are both moderators, but Lois is like a managing moderator. I would have made both of them managing moderators, but they only allowed me to do one, so I picked Lois. And then I'm trying to think. I'm getting like little like comments about whatever. So I'm like, sorry about that. Somebody I've never
Oh,
seen before is commenting. So
Rick
on
just
something
said a big fat duck was waddling around while he was trying to work, taunting him.
you're not going to eat me. Is that what it was saying to you, Rick? Um,
Yeah. Oh, they're just repeating what.
well, you're probably at that part where, yeah.
Yeah, we were talking about The Biggest Loser, and you may have qualified, but you also had said that some of those people were like 500 pounds, and you
Well,
were
yeah,
nowhere
it was
near
like
that
during
too.
this. It was at a point in the show where most people were like closer to five. Like the women would have been like
Hmm.
my weight would have been most of the women, and then most men were like
The
closer to
men were like,
right.
yeah.
So I think that I had a shot, but I don't think my mom was big enough to really do, and that's probably why we didn't get in because she wasn't really deemed. And since it had to be couples, there was a which is
Yeah,
fine.
that could have been it too. Maybe they didn't want a mom and son. Maybe they wanted actual, couples. And I
They had a lot of mothers and
did they?
fathers and daughters, mothers and daughters,
Hmm.
sisters. They had a lot of different like couples didn't necessarily mean like boyfriend and girlfriend or husband and wife. But no, I think it was because she wasn't heavy enough, and which is good. And it was good that I didn't. I think it's good. I kind of thank my stars that I didn't get in because can you imagine if I was going through all that and you know it would have killed me. I would have been okay for a little
Well,
bit, but
it wasn't a good thing. Just watch Adrian Gledhill's channel. They
yeah,
talk about all the behind the scenes, and they basically made them eat next to nothing and make them work out. It was really unhealthy. It wasn't a healthy thing that they were doing. And
no,
then they would step on the scale and act like it was a day, and it was actually 2 weeks. So they totally lied about
yeah.
the weight loss and how long it took. And
You know what really destroyed? You know what really destroyed me? I always thought she was pretty good. When I watched her, but and I'm not saying anything against her. I still think she's a good I still think she has a good heart.
Jillian,
Jillian Michaels. She actually
yep.
did going against Dr. Barry. Okay, I think it was Dr. Berry she actually went against, or at least Carnivore, and she was saying about how this is what made me like not really have too much faith in her. She was saying, especially now, okay, at that time I didn't really know what keto was. I didn't know what ketosis was. I didn't know what ketoacidosis was. I didn't really know the difference. But she was like saying like you can't be in ketosis because it causes ketoacidosis, and she was saying this big thing on how it's bad and how you're hurting yourself and how you could like pretty much kill yourself and all this stuff. And the fact is, she's a trainer that should know the difference. She is supposed to know nutrition. She should know the difference between the two. So if you're going to go on to video and say something against somebody that does what we do, have all your facts straight. Okay. I'm a novice and I
Me
pretty
too.
much knew the difference. Okay. She's supposed to be in the field. So my respect of her knowledge went down so far it wasn't even funny. I do apologize, and I'm not assuming that Julian's watching this, but if you are, Jillian, I'm sorry. You disappointed me to the point of where I wasn't going to be following.
I feel
And
like that's a polite way to say that.
yeah,
I don't think
you
she would be
know,
offended.
and some people get offended by the stupidest crap. am,
That's
I,
true.
am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
And and it just made me like, and I think we all knew that, here you're 500 pounds, you're on there for like about 6 months. Okay. And then
CB's here. Hi, CB.
CB.
CB's in
I
the
don't know. I don't
house.
know. I yelled at your name, CB.
Because it's fun.
And I guess good evening wasn't a joke because he didn't like do the laughing faces and say just kidding or joke onto his thing. So yeah.
You and CB both have like great senses of humor too. You guys make me laugh.
I appreciate that. I try. It wasn't always this out there.
So does Carrie, if he's still here. Carrie has a great sense of humor too. I want to acknowledge him as well.
He does. Yeah, I don't see Carrie on too many things. I see him on yours and maybe a couple other people, but
yes.
And Carrie, if you have a story, you could be on my channel too. I mean, just
absolutely.
Any of you guys, come on, like we're all in here.
What does that mean?
Kiss the ring.
What does that mean?
Well, first off, I don't know at what point in the chat that this is being said, so I have to rewatch the video, rewatch the live to see the actual chats because
I don't remember.
I have it on my phone, but I'm not actually.
I don't know what that means. I don't remember. But Lewis is funny too.
Those can be funny, yes.
And I love the East Coast. You've lived in the East Coast your whole life, right? And Lewis kind of talks like he's from there too. And I have a lot of customers from the East Coast, and
you can't get any more East Coast than Lewis.
You guys have this like cutting sense of humor, sarcasm, I should say. You guys have this sarcasm, and it could offend somebody, but I think it's hilarious. I just love it.
I think the sarcasm, it's the way you deliver it, like I say a lot of jokes every once in a while that it's so extreme that it's like, if you actually believe me, then you're the idiot. Okay.
See, that's what I mean.
To tell you like, okay, a little side story. So this is when I was first working for the job I had for quite a while. I worked for a guy named Chaz. He owned a company called Chaz Mataz Forward. And ended up working there for a long time, and unfortunately I had to leave because my diabetes was causing like really bad brain fog and everything like that. And I was making a lot of mistakes, but I was getting paid pretty well from him and he was treating me pretty well. He one of the birthday gifts he gave me tickets for Wicked to take me and my mom. And
that's cool.
$500 to go out to dinner and everything like that. So we went to a few places and I had some money of my own, obviously. I mean, he paid me pretty well. And one day, it's the first time I worked there, he actually had to leave. Like I go in there, I'm working at night, and my schedule is until 9 p.m. Okay, that's when the store closed and everything. And and I, like it was my first day, so they weren't going to make me like clean up afterward or anything like that. They were like, okay, you're just working until 9, and then just to see how you do with the sale, like working with customers and stuff like that. So I already had some experience, so like quite a bit of experience, so it wasn't a problem. So I go to the girl that was left in charge of me, okay, and I said to her, I said, I thought, well, maybe just to break the ice a little bit, and I forget what her name was. I think it was Cheryl or something like that. And I go to her, I go, let's just assume it was Cheryl. I go to her, I said, Cheryl, just to let you know, I hope you don't mind, but I have to leave at 8:59. So she's like, okay, you know. So I just figured, okay, that's it, and that was, like the joke was made, but she either didn't catch it or whatever. She was fine or whatever, or she got it, but it was like, okay, that wasn't funny. Okay, so because she was young, she was like 21, and I was like I had my diabetes by then, so I was like
Mm-hmm.
about 35 at the time, 35, 40, and so I go to lunch. I'm working in, I don't know if anybody knows about Princeton, but I was working, the place I was working was Princeton Market Fair. So anybody that knows it, that's where I was working. At that time, they actually had a food court. They don't have a food court anymore. They turned into a furniture store, believe it or not, called West Elm. And but at that time, it was a food court, and I went and I got myself some Chinese food, and I ate there, and I finished. A half an hour later, I come back. Well, she's on the phone. Okay, she's on the phone talking to my boss, Chaz. Now I knew it was Chaz because of the conversation. She goes, I don't know what to do. I had to tell him yes. He wants to leave at 8:59. So she's reporting that. Obviously he knew because he was like, okay, whatever, Like he got it right away. Like my schedule's until 9 p.m. 8:59 is only 1 minute earlier. And she's not getting it, she just didn't get it. So sometimes I always find it funny, like when certain people don't get my jokes, because it's like, okay.
That's
it's like
funny.
it's like CB, whenever he makes jokes, you ever notice how he puts like the laughies like right there, right on the screen, like laughy emojis, and then joke, like he has to explain that it's a
Joke.
joke, and there's so many out there. It's like, okay, this is kind of obvious.
Right?
So yeah, we sort of have like a little bit more, but I don't know if CB is actually on the East Coast. I'm not sure where CB is. I think he's more like mid.
Southern.
Yeah, like
Or
so.
I don't know where he's at now, but he's from, if have you ever heard him talk? He's got an accent.
Oh yeah, of course. He talks like my father and grandparents used to. I actually for about 3 years of my life, from 4 years old to 7, before my parents got divorced, I was in Virginia, and I actually my one of the I think subconscious memories I have is of my father carrying me on his back. Now I wasn't this big, obviously. When I was like a few months old, I wasn't even a year yet, and he used to carry me on his back and go mountain climbing, like climb up because we lived right behind the Blue Ridge Mountains. Like the Blue Ridge Mountains goes like state, like far. It doesn't just go into. And we were right behind our house. Our trailer was actually right behind the Blue Ridge Mountains, so we had hills and everything like that. And he used to go mountain climbing with me on his back. So I think subconsciously that's why. Like I don't have a fear of heights as much as I have a fear of unstableness. Like if a ladder's too
Yeah.
shaky, or if people decide to go under the ladder and start like touching the ladder, it's like, get the way, get out of the way, get away from me, you know. And in retrospect, I'm probably better off with them being there, because if I did fall, then at least somebody would be there to catch me. But I guess I'd rather break my leg than have somebody cause me to fall. And so I think I've always had that fear because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but they were very Southern, like, hey, how are you doing? And I can't even do it anymore. But I used to have, like, my sister had a really deep Southern accent when we were kids, and like, oh, I can't help but think that you're going to, like, like, like she used one of the things my sister used to do was really funny. She was like 2 years old, 2, 3 years old, just learning how to talk. And my grandmother, my granny, used to complain about her back all the time. So my sister, wearing saggy diapers, okay. So my sister used to have humor too, okay. Now I don't know what happened to her, but I know I love her. She's still pretty good. But um, she when she was like about 2 3 years old, she would wear these great big boots that my father had. My father was worked for a company called GTE. So for about 35 years, he was a lineman for GTE, which is
Hmm.
General Electric. So he was a telephone
Yep.
guy. And but earlier in his career, he obviously was just a lineman. He had these great big boots, and at 3 years old, she used to wear his boots. Now, obviously, they're huge on her, and she used to walk around holding her back, and she used to go like, "Oh, my aching back." "Oh, my aching back," and she was imitating my grandmother. Yeah. So so I mean, unfortunately, my grandmother ended up, and now that we know that it's technically type 3 diabetes, my grandmother ended up getting Alzheimer's.
Yep.
And we had, at 7, I didn't see her again until I was 13. Like, we got out when, like, we moved here. My father calls my mom, asks for a divorce while she's in New Jersey. All right.
Oh,
And I know
wow.
there's two sides to the story and everything like that, but it was just not really the right thing. It wasn't really the right etiquette to do. And by the time I saw her again, she was fully Alzheimer's. She was fully out of it. She had no idea. And the funny story is, I'm talking to my aunt. My father was actually one of 9 children. So I'm talking to one of my aunts, 13. And at this time, I'm a big kid, that's when I started getting really big and everything like that. I was like, before that, I was really skinny. Like, my mom used to make this comment that I had to wear suspenders and a belt in order to keep my pants up. And one day, like years later, I said to my mom, "Well, why don't you just put the suspenders on me? Because, like, what was the need of the belt? Because, like, yeah, I can see a belt not holding my pants up, but suspenders should do the trick because it goes over my shoulders."
Right.
And but the joke was just more prominent by saying suspenders and a belt. So I saw her, and the weird thing was, okay, now I know Alzheimer's can affect in different ways. She had no idea who anybody was. She did not know who her husband was, my grandfather. She did not know who my father was, who any of her children were. To her, they were little kids. Like, they're in their 40s at this time, some of them 50s, because from 9 children, there's a big lifespan. And she had no idea who they were. Yet, she knew exactly, this is the weird thing, she knew exactly who one of her son-in-laws was. She knew him as her son-in-law. She knew he was married to one of her daughters. And we were like, "Well, Grandma, how can she be married to Aunt Peggy if Aunt Peggy's only 10?" But she still remembered him for who he was. The logic just wasn't there. Like,
Hmm.
he's married to he's my son-in-law. But no, Peggy's only 10 years old. So he knew he was Peggy's husband, but
But
he just,
yeah.
it's just, and, but, a lot of them had, like, it was funny. Like, on my father's side, men usually end up drinking, which is amazing that I didn't end up becoming an alcoholic myself with everything that has happened to me in my life. And women on the Pruitt side, and yes, that's my last name if no one realized that, would actually be put in, like, would go mentally crazy. They would actually have to go to mental institutions. And it's a sad story. Like, there's only one aunt left out of everybody. And I had an uncle that at 24 drove off a cliff because he, like, had very bad depression because he was in the army. Now, he was really successful in the Marines and the army. He actually was a quarterback in the Marine football team.
Well, that's
So
cool.
he was really successful. He was a guy that I wish that not the drinking part, but the being so good and everything like that. But it was really depressing for him. And he ended up like I think it was sort of suicide because, the fact that he just drove off the cliff, and and that's pretty much what they reported. And I found that when I was about like 8 years old that my uncle died at 24, and obviously my sister loved him. She was devastated and everything. His name was Guy, so that's a real Southern name if you think about it. Guy.
Guy, yeah.
Ellie Mae and Guy, And now I'm trying to imitate being Southern, so I'm sorry, CB, if I'm like butchering it.
CB's gonna come put you in the handcuffs here in a minute, probably.
Yeah, he will. He will. But how great would that be to be put on to Amy's channel and be handcuffed by CB?
Ooh.
Yeah, that would increase your content right there.
That'd be fun. Real quick, I want to say hi to Andy, my lady laugh a lot, and I saw Paul Defense Wiz, I interviewed him a while back. He is, and actually, he would be a good one to go on your channel too.
Anyone who wants to come on my channel, my email address.
He is a type 1 diabetic and a professional volleyball player.
I meet Paul? I think I met Paul, right? He's a tennis player, right? The former.
No, he's a volleyball player. Well, he's a professional volleyball player. Yeah,
I knew it was a sport.
Kind of like tennis. I mean, the ball goes over a net.
It connects a net, right? A net and a ball.
Right.
Don't have the racket.
Badminton, all of those things.
Badminton's a birdie.
And what's the latest craze? What's
Pickleball.
that? Yes. So, I've got bad hip, right? And my sister's like, you should check out pickleball. It's kind of like volleyball. I go to YouTube, and the YouTube that I'm looking at, these pickleball players, it's just as intense as like racquetball and all. I'm like, no, I'm going to tear out my hip playing pickleball because I'm very competitive. So I just wouldn't play a leisurely game of pickleball. I would try to kill everything. So I'm like, no, I can't get into pickleball. I'm going to have an injury.
It's another game too that's actually become popular over here. For a while there, we had a store that actually I was shocked by it because to me, this is a game that would be like maybe in a sports store that has like other sports, be like a part of it, but to have its own store for it. But they did a thing called disc golf.
Yes, that's huge here. So less than a mile from my house, we have this park called George Wilson Park in Mishawaka, and it's these hills, and people sled down them in the wintertime, and all of the cross country teams, like the high school cross country teams from around the area, they run these hills, and it's like death. This course is death because of the hills. Well, they also put disc golf on this property too. So, and it's intense because you're having to walk the course and you're having to walk up these hills. And, but yeah, we used to enter tube and toboggan down them as kids. It's really cool. So yeah, disc golf is a huge thing here. I know exactly what you're talking about.
But would you say it's something that should be in a single store, like a standalone?
No, it should just be like in a Dick's Sporting Good or something.
Right, that's what I mean. So the store ended up closing down. It was, now the dance studio actually opened up in that store, so they have two dance studios in our. And
we got FYF here. Wow, this guy's popular, and he's got an emoji with the middle finger. So
they're not. He or she is not. Well, I'm assuming it's a him because he has the emoji of a guy, unless it's just. I
don't know.
I mean, I shouldn't really say that because just because it's bald doesn't mean it's not a woman,
Yes, Thomas is very popular. We like Thomas.
I don't know about that, but thank you. I think we're all popular in one way or another. So,
yeah, I don't know.
I'm very grateful. I can say that definitely.
Me too.
And I mean, like I've said to Amy, I mean, the only reason why I want people on my channel is because I want you guys to be able to tell your story on all of our formats, and there's no story too small. So stop thinking that, everybody, all your stories are important in whatever way, And
if you want to be on at the top, so you can either make a comment on one of his videos. You can't hear me? Oh.
Well, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you, yeah.
Okay, so if you want to be on Thomas's channel, I posted the link to his channel. I pinned it. You can just make a comment on one of his videos is probably the easiest way, and then he'll let you know how to reach out. Or I'm assuming your email is on your channel as
It
well.
is. My email's on my channel, and there's also a link that you could actually click on, and it'll take you right to Google Calendar, and you can actually pick what day. And normally I do my lives at 4 o'clock. I usually set about 2 hours. Whether you take less time or more time, that's up to you. But I usually just set it for 2 hours. It's your platform, so I do like we might do some Q&A from the audience and stuff like that, but but basically it's your day to shine, and but you could actually set it up, and I have right now I have only up until January 1st, but I do have spaces to fill in before that. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I am thinking about taking a break after January 1st just for a little while, just to kind of clear my head, and but if I do have requests to go on after that, then I probably will consider it and go further in. But
And after you're done going on Thomas's channel, be sure to email me at ketorockstars21 at
of course, if you
gmail.com because
haven't been
I'd
on
love
Amy's
to have,
channel, yeah,
yes, I'd
if you
love to
haven't
have
been
you
on
on
Amy's
my
channel
channel
yet,
as
then
well.
I would definitely go on everybody. Don't just go,
Right.
your story. Believe it or not, people, your stories are, no matter what they are, they're more. I mean, look at Gary. I don't know if Gary's still in here. Gary knows slow.
No
Okay,
slow.
he said to me, he goes, I have no story to tell. I don't have a story to tell. He was on my channel for 3 hours and 20 minutes.
I know. And I personally connected so much with Gary because of his working so hard,
I mean,
putting himself through
maybe in his
college.
opinion, he didn't really have a story to tell, but
He's a programmer. He's in
he
IT.
had
I'm in
something to
IT.
tell.
I was a programmer.
Right.
Yeah.
He had something to tell. He had, like he had something that he wanted to get out, and that's what I want to do. I want to give other people a voice, because the thing is, okay, when I was going through all the crap I was going through, I didn't mention this before, but when I was going through all the crap I was going through, my roommate, with my toes, with the infection, everything, people were like not even listening to me. They pretty much treated me like I knew nothing. I was stupid, and that I was like that I was some retard. And I hate to use that word. I didn't, like it just came to my mind. Okay, and they were. I felt devalued. Okay, and when I started doing my channel and people started watching me, that's when the value started hitting. Okay, the carnivore helped my health, but the channel and being on these groups, I said about the groups with kills and all that stuff, they're what helped me
Boost your confidence.
boost my confidence. Yeah, and I still have
Yes.
problems with confidence. I still have issues, but they're not
Who
anything.
doesn't? I
You
mean,
know, if
who
you knew what I
doesn't?
was like a couple of years ago, or when this all was going on, I never. I mean, I'll be honest, and I'm going to go a little deep here. I never wanted to commit suicide. Okay, I never thought about taking my life. But the thing I did think of was, and I'm sorry if I offend anybody that believes in God and everything like that. I do believe in God. I just don't believe in the church. I just don't believe in, because God to me does not hate. One of the things I hate is the term God fearing, because I hate that term, because you should not be fearing God. Okay. God is, just like Dr. Kill says, God's in all of us and all that. And that's confusing. I get it. But I think what it is God, like God is in our hearts. It's whatever we believe in. And I can go and walk out I could go walk the track, and he's with me and I'm with him. Not, I
Mhm.
know Kilt says like, I am him and he is me, but
Yeah, he says it in a weird way
but
that's like, "What?"
I'm
But
not thinking that. I just think that
we
God
love
is with
kilts.
me and I'm with him. And I can think like while I'm walking, and God's listening. Okay. So that's, that being said, again, if I offended anybody, I apologize, but that's just my belief. Okay. So no one really listened to me for the longest time. Okay. And I finally had a voice. I finally was able to say things, you know, and one day I'm doing my videos. I'm like, wonder like what would I have to do to do? And it took me about a month to really get fully into the lives, and about a month and a half. And I started with StreamYard, but I couldn't afford to do StreamYard, so I don't want to do the free service. So, StreamYard, you can only do so much on the free service. So then I
Right.
found the thing I'm at now, and it's
EV
free.
Mux.
Yeah, EV Mux, whatever you call it. And then I might be doing it, but I don't know how to pronounce it. and and I mean, the thing is, like StreamYard, when you do free service, you only have 6 hours per month so you're limited on how many hours you can do each month by 6 hours. EN Mux or Vux or whatever. We'll call it the E channel. They it's 30 hours per month. Now you can only do about 4 hours at a time. But if I wanted to, I could do a 24-hour live stream once a month, but I would have to stop and then start it up again. But technically I could go 30 hours. I could go like 24 hours if I really, really wanted to, for the free. Now, when you pay for it, you're actually unlimited. I did pay for it for a short while, but then I stopped because I thought I thought I would have to stop my channel and everything like that. And when, like when I had issues with the other computer, I thought I'd have to stop my lives. Now,
Yeah.
Aaron and you too, but Aaron's like, I do on the phone all the time. So I did figure it out, and I was able to
Yes.
back.
That worked very well too.
Yeah, and towards the end, it started getting a little effective. Like I noticed I was freezing a little bit more, but it's just kind of weird. Like when I got my new computer right before that, that's when it started to give a little bit of agita, but nothing compared to the 8K computer. And it took a while, but we figured it out. I had to get a better computer, and which is fun. Like what I say to you backstage, everything happens for a reason, correct? So
Oh, so CB is from Northwest Alabama,
yeah. So
Tuscumbia,
he's not
Alabama,
on the East Coast, I don't think. Yeah.
where Helen Keller was born and raised. No, he's from Alabama, but I, for some reason, thought he moved to Missouri or something like that. I don't remember.
I'm not sure where Missouri is on the map. I'm very bad when
Missouri is on the other side of Illinois because my family lives near
But
St.
that's not on
Louis.
the East Coast, though, right? It's
No. He's Southern.
yeah.
He's from the
Well,
South.
you can be on the East Coast and be Southern. I mean,
Well, that's true.
Virginia's on the East Coast, and
Yes.
so is North
No.
Carolina. So is South Carolina. Technically, Florida is South, but you don't get too many people that talk. Most of them probably talk more like Hispanic and stuff because of the location. And stuff.
Oh, and guess who popped in?
Did it hurt when they popped?
Papa Carnivore popped in.
Oh yeah, I kind of figured that Peter was going to come in eventually.
Oh wait, he says I'm from the land of cornbread and taters.
Taters. Well,
Tater
Steve-O,
tot.
my favorite food when I was a kid was cornbread and fried chicken. I used to love my fried chicken, and we had cornbread and beans. Of course, as a kid, I hated beans. So
my husband says he's from the South, but he's only from Southern Indiana.
I'm sorry for the imitation, CB. I do apologize.
But I laugh at him because when I want to bring out his Southern accent, because Southern Indiana people have Southern accents too, and I'm like, say oil, and he's like, oh, I need an oil change.
I'm like, change.
And then the other one is toilet. He says, I say toilet. He says toilet.
Toilet.
And I'm like, so I'm like, and he knows he won't say it anymore when people are around.
We don't really realize when we have accents. I mean, CB probably realizes it because he has a pretty strong accent, but and you can't like it's not a really good habit. And I apologize, CB, but I remember when I was in Boston, another person I met was Diane Ladd. I don't know if you know who that is, Boston Carnivore. And when I first met her, the first thing I did was talk like in a Boston accent, and I'm like I felt so bad after it. And I even did a video showing it. But, like I think she was like fine with it, or she got annoyed, but she probably heard it before. So she didn't really like, it's like kind of like, okay, whatever, but You just can't, like the first thing you think of is Kennedy,
Mhm.
when you hear Boston and stuff like that. So, um, okay. So what was I saying? So, um, sorry, I'm getting that brain
It's
fog.
okay. It's okay. I'm gonna acknowledge Paul here. He's like, I'm uber late here. We'll hit the replay. He's the volleyball player,
That's defenseless.
and
Okay.
yes, and he's a type 1 diabetic. So you two should get together because, and Paul, you should go back and watch Thomas's story because
Thank you.
it's severe. I mean, what he went through with diabetes is no joke,
And
in
I'm
my
gonna
opinion.
make a little suggestion, a little comment. You know who else? I mean, if she ever does lives, I don't think she does. But if he's type 1 diabetic, who would else be a good person that he could relate with would be Amy Perrin.
Is
She's type
she
1.
diabetic?
She's type 1.
She's brisket boomer. She was in here.
Brisket
I don't know if
bourbon.
she's
Yeah.
still in here. Yeah.
I don't know if Amy does any lives or anything like that, but she would be a pretty good
Well,
person
I
to at
thought
least connect with.
uh Juliet just interviewed her today or yesterday, I thought.
Okay.
Today.
I'll probably have
So
to watch the replays because I didn't see that. But
and
yes.
Juliet just did. So maybe you should reach out to her and see if she can come on your channel. And if you want to come on my
Oh,
channel
Amy's
too,
coming
you're
on my
more than welcome.
channel.
Oh, she is coming on your
Amy's
channel.
coming. I
Perfect.
have to look at the calendar, but yeah, she's coming on November sometime, I think. So,
Awesome.
actually, sorry about that, because I'm like at that age where if it's in my head, I can't get it out.
I have to look at the calendar too, so I get it.
Well, not even just for the concept. And I'm gonna just take out the video. Like I had YouTube open so I can see the chats, but to tell you the truth, I'm missing everything anyway. So,
I
um,
gotta get down to some of these comments where
I am.
Papa
Oh, actually, she's going to be on in three. She's going to be on the 21st of October.
October.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That's a day after my surgery.
Okay.
So I may be coming out of like whatever drugs, but I probably have plenty of time to catch up on the lives
I
that
don't know
week.
about Amy, but I probably have the best content when people are loopy. So.
Well, I will not go on anybody's channel that week just because
Well, I didn't say for you to go on, but like, what? What did they say?
I'm pretty reserved. I'm pretty reserved on YouTube, but I can't say that I would be taking any kind of narcotics. So the true me might come out, and
Right.
that might be the end of anybody's channel. I could probably shut down a channel after surgery.
I'm probably a little loopy right now, but I didn't drink anything. It's just the excitement of being carnivore and being here.
I gotta, and everyone's telling Rick he should charge more than $80 an hour. Probably the going rate is probably at least 250 an hour, I think, for what he does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Rick,
have
you
no
need to
idea.
raise your prices.
Well, Rick is pretty generous to begin with.
He is. He's just a nice guy. So, uh, oh, happy birthday. Okay, hold on. It was Lynn's birthday. So I'm gonna sing for her. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Lynn. Happy birthday to you. All right.
I would have sang, but I didn't want people to go deaf. So,
Okay.
happy
I
birthday.
want to get to Papa. Something about Papa and his date.
Oh yeah, I think I heard that he had a date. So,
CB is the carnivore police.
yeah.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Gosh, I'm way behind. Paul says pickleball will be my next sport. I can't even do pickleball, Rick. I'm
Well,
more
I don't
like
understand why they call it pickleball because you're not actually hitting a pickle. So why would they call it
I don't
pickleball?
know. Liam's goes pickleball sounds like a disease.
Yeah.
and and Guy, hey Rick. I don't know if I said hi to Rick. This is Rick Twinburg Acres. Check out his channel as well. Guy is a popular French name, pronounced Guy. Hard G, i.e. Guy Lafleur,
Where they
Guy
live in the
Carbonneau.
sky. They didn't pronounce it "gee," but
Oh, the G.
yeah. But Pruitt's supposed to be a French last name too. My my heritage actually on my father's side, but there might have been some French in there too. My grandmother, actually, the one that had Alzheimer's, she actually came from a very rich family. But unfortunately, because she married my grandfather, they disowned her. But they were so rich, they actually owned their own airports. Like they were really like they were Rockefeller rich, from what I hear. That they were very. I mean, back then Rockefeller was very rich. So I guess you could say Trump rich. You know,
Yeah.
they were very. They had a lot of money, and but they disowned her because of who she married, and 9 kids later, she's not gonna leave him or anything like that. They loved each other, which is sort of romantic, I guess. But and my grandfather actually had a missing leg, from the war.
Oh, from diabetes or from what?
Well, we found out later on it probably had complications of diabetes, probably kept it going worse because he had to keep on getting more and more of it chopped until like it went past the knee. But it was actually shot in the like he actually had it shot in the war, so it probably was a little bit of both, I guess you could say, like the damage from the shooting and then the diabetes didn't help it. But yeah, I mean, he used to do this really funny thing where he used to there was like a hinge where his knee was, and obviously there's like this hinge, so there's like this hole in the leg, from the real leg to where the hole, the hinge was.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a wooden leg. He didn't have like it wasn't plastic or rubber or anything like that. It was a wooden leg, and he used to wear these pair of pants with a hole in them. And me and my sister knew what it was. Most of our cousins knew what it was, but neighborhood kids had no idea. And it looks like Papa said that the date went well. She was very nice.
Yes.
Excellent. And maybe you could coax her to go into the carnivore way, and so he used to take his leg, right? Like like I said, he had a hole, and he had a hole in his pants, and he used to take a stick and go right through the leg. So they actually thought he was poking a leg, literally right through his leg, when he wasn't. He was poking it through the hole. And so the kids got like very mortified. They're like, oh my god, how is he doing that? But that's what he was doing. He was sticking it through the hole up from his wooden leg. So so me and my sister understood what it was. Like we're like 3 and 5, and we're like, they're being fooled. Don't tell anybody.
Thomas's wooden leg story. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Peter says, I think there will be a second date. Not sure if the attraction is there, but she's very nice. Peter, well, at least me, I'm married. I don't date. I mean, I date my husband, but
Yeah,
a lot of times
I have a very hard time finding people to date. I really, I
so
don't
I'm
really
living
go out much other than here.
So we're all living vicariously through you, Peter,
Yeah.
and we all want to know what the news is.
You can't disappoint us, Peter. You gotta be Papa.
Yep. And
So we so yeah, my grandfather had diabetes, and he also lost his leg in the war and everything. And again, I did it. I was saying something and I went off track, and then
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Carnivore's not helping him at all. Like
I don't know, but I think that Sherry and Rick are trying to set up a dance date here.
I know you would, Rick. I wish we were closer. I mean, I don't know. Can Rick dance? I don't know.
Oh, so here's a good one. Jerry asked, what did she eat, Peter? And he said, we both had egg omelets. And Jerry goes, we know you had bacon and eggs. Oh, and Peter had bacon and provolone cheese, 3 egg omelets. Sorry, I'm a sucker for a good love story. I feel like we need a carnivore love channel or something.
Yeah, I mean, wouldn't it be great if, like, no, Peter, I'm. It's great that you found something, but wouldn't it be even better if she was actually carnivore and you guys met, and got together? But I don't like people.
Somebody's falling asleep.
Are we boring them? Is that why they're falling asleep?
I don't know. I don't know if you noticed, but the emojis people put bounce around on my screen. It's a little descriptive.
I didn't. I
And
thought it was
someone,
you actually putting them out, but
no, it's whoever. I set that
I
up
thought
as
you
a
were like
filter.
doing. I can't. It's not doing for me, but
It only goes on my screen though because I have it set up in my OBS, and
oh, okay.
I
I
can't
didn't
bring
know
you
if
in
mine
through
screen,
OBS.
but yeah, it's true. I'm
Oh,
on your.
Sandy's going to bed. Night. I must have sung her to sleep when I was singing, maybe. And
My
then
voice is kind of. People tell me I sound like Kermit when I talk. So.
Jerry says she deletes her videos weekly, which frees up more space.
Right.
But I think what Thomas was saying is they only allow you to record so many videos a month.
Right. But it's not recording. I'm only allowed to do 6 hours of lives. Like I can only do, like they won't let me go live for more than the 6 hours a month. So I had to kind of, which like I guess if you do a live like every hour, then you have like 6 lives you could do every month.
Yeah.
You could do like one a month, and then sometimes you could do more if you wanted to. But
Let me get
Quack
through these
Jr.
comments.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Yeah, Rick said Quack Jr. had his coffee date.
I mean,
Oh, yeah. So
I probably talked enough. So.
CB says Florida South, but it's a blender of people from all over the world and the country. That is true. Oh,
And that's another person I would love to have on my channel. Since I've seen him on Julia and everything, I'd love to have CB on my channel.
Me too. But go to Thomas first. I'm promoting Thomas tonight. And then reach out to me. Defense Wiz says Archie Bunker calls a toilet turlet.
Turlet.
Love it. Oh.
Now, someone had said
Miami is either.
that I
Yeah, go
actually have
ahead.
an accent. Do you guys hear an accent out of me? Like a New York accent?
A little bit of East Coast.
Okay.
But I hear it from definitely
I
from Lewis.
I definitely hear Lewis. No offense to Lewis. If you never think he had a New York accent, you're dead wrong. You know.
No, I do hear it from you every once in a while, but sometimes I don't notice it. But no offense, Lewis, I definitely notice your East Coast accent.
Yeah, I never realized that. I never.
And Kelly,
I'm not objected to it.
Kelly, are you near Branson or Springfield, Missouri? My sister used to live in Springfield, and then all my family live on the Illinois side of St. Louis, but that's on the east side. Yes, ooh. It's starting to get into Carnivore After Dark here. And Gary says, Gary's still here. That answers our question. Don't start with the potty talk.
What is Gary? It would not be Carnivore if we didn't have some potty talking.
Yeah, poop. We got to talk about poop. Yeah. And then I saw something else here from Peter. Oh, this is even better. Evelyn, I love you, girl. It's my potty, and I'll cry if I want to.
Yeah, I used to do this joke with. I can't really do it too much anymore, but I used to do Bobby from Bobby's World.
Is that the same creator as
Yeah, from Howie Mandel.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't get my voice that.
Hi, my name is Bobby.
Do Kermit.
Hi, I'm Kermit the Frog. Happy birthday to you. Hey.
Mine is hee-haw, Kermit the Frog here. But that's about the only thing I can do.
And then I sort of do Miss Piggy too, like, Kermit, come here. I love you, Kermit.
Lamb says,
and
sorry, go ahead.
Reminded me of that because there's a skit that he does where he does Bobby's voice, and he's like I had to remember the skit, but it pretty much ends with saying like, it's my potty and I can cry if I want to, so in Bobby's voice. So it reminded me of that. So I apologize, but yeah.
So Rick says, I never date, and who would want to go on an iguana date? You never know. I mean, that could be fun. CB says, yeah, I know, Diane. Coach Lisa Picker said she took therapy to get rid of her southern drawl. I was thinking that would work in her favor. I don't trust Yankee accents until I dig deeper. Oh. Yeah, Amy Perrin is Brisket Boomers.
And I met her too. She's very nice. Very nice.
Yes, she is. Yes.
Very nice.
I forget, was she... I saw her on an interview, and that's where I found out about her. But
he actually knows her from FB. So okay.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
She has a few Facebook platforms, so it's probably that. That's cool.
CB says, Rick, I will have a campfire iguana roast date with you. Just keep your hands to yourself, except handshake. I would do an iguana. I told Rick he needs to have a meetup with all of his exotic delicacies, except for dumpster chicken. I will not eat dumpster chicken. I'm sorry, Rick. I have to draw the line. But I would eat iguana. I would eat duck. I've been frog gigging before in Louisville.
Well, I guess I'm not sure. Like when they say dumpster chicken, is it a live chicken? It's just around the dumpster, or is it an actual like already killed chicken that they found?
It's leftover. It's leftover cooked chicken, like from a restaurant that was in the dumpster. And apparently, Rick has fine-tuned his skill of digging for food in the trash and knowing whether or not it's going to make him sick or not. So it's literally like throwing out food.
Okay.
Dumpster chicken.
Yeah, that I don't know. If it was a live chicken running around, he just called it dumpster chicken because, like, I know he does parking lot chicken where he finds chickens that are running around. If it was like that, then yeah, maybe. But
no, I would eat parking lot chicken all day long.
Yeah.
But parking lot chicken, and then you kill it and cook it. Yeah. But dumpster chicken is
like, I might eat it if I didn't know what it was. If that makes any sense. And then, like, once I have it and I like, it's like, oh, this is really good, and I practically finish it, and then you tell me what it is, then it might be like, okay, well, it's already in my stomach, so what can I do? You know. But
I would probably at that point,
if he told me like right from the get-go, like, hey, this is from the dumpster, here you go. I don't know if that would be really too appetizing to me.
I would at that point set a timer on my watch and say, okay, if I make it past this point, then I'm probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
Oh, and Amy still is here doing a live Wednesday with my first live interview with 2 other type 1. Okay, is this on your channel? I'm going to have to watch this. Because that sounds amazing, Amy.
She's a diabetic woman, so
yep, women, yep. So
carnivore women, okay.
Yep, so that's awesome.
Yeah.
That sounds like a great topic.
You definitely put down, you know.
If she's coherent, I will be watching. I think she's talking about me after my surgery, yeah. Okay, so the week of the 20th, just ignore whatever I chat in anybody's chats, because I can't guarantee it's going to be on the up and up.
We'll keep you away from we'll let you watch it on the TV and just watch us, but we'll keep
I should just reset my password on the 19th, so I can't even get in.
And Amy says she needs to meet him, so okay, meet him.
Oh. Thomas. Oh, yeah. Thank you for mentioning that, because I haven't been reading all these books.
Amy, we met in Boston.
Oh, you guys met in person?
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, we met in Boston. Matter of fact, I had to find it, but I think I have a picture with you and me together. Or no, Lewis has a picture of us together. Or someone does. There's a picture out there. Somewhere. I had a hard time doing the videos more, and that's one regret I have. I should have taken more pictures and not so many videos. You would think the videos would be better, but I think it would be better to have the pictures.
You're welcome, Lynn. Oh, look who's here. Cranky Cutler Carnivore is here. Welcome. That was great, Amy. Why don't you sing with Russ? Because I get embarrassed. I am very shy about my singing, even though I sing in multiple groups. I'm not really that great. Yes, Paul, karaoke, but I will karaoke with Paul.
There's a lot of people that can sing in
Lisa, or I'm sorry, Lori Weitzel is a really good singer.
I think so is Tuka.
Tuka is like
It's a really
Tuca's like
cool-
operatic.
yeah, like he's like, oh, and and then
And Paul sings karaoke.
of course Russ has a pretty good voice.
Russ is awesome.
Yeah.
I can carry a tune. Piano used to be my thing when I was younger. I was a really good pianist, but not so much anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
Yes.
I can sing, I just can't carry a tune. So
Josephine, yes, it is hard to keep up with all the YouTubers, so we appreciate you being here. Sorry, Thomas, I'm trying to get through these because I know you have to work in the morning.
No, you know what? Don't worry about it. I don't want you to rush it. Take as much time as you need.
Yes, Rick says my cat Milton follows me everywhere and loves to sit next to me because you're his person.
Rick, you are lying. You are the one following Milton. Okay? Stop saying that Milton's following you. We all know it's you following him. Okay?
Peter sounds delicious. Oh, this is interesting. Amy says my grandfather had a full wooden leg too.
Cool. Of course, now that I found out that Amy doesn't remember meeting me, I'm a little hurt by that. So,
Oh.
I'm just joking, Amy.
So, Lamb says birthdays are celebrations of 365 days of breathing. I've had too many of them to throw parties around it. Ooh, and Evelyn went a date with Carl on Friday. Who's this Carl person? I think I need to check him out. Make sure he's a good guy.
Well, judging by the guy in the picture, he looks a lot like Ken Berry.
Actually, I've met Carl. He's a good guy. Where is Carl? Papa drinks Bigelow lemon ginger tea, and I also have the Bigelow perfectly mint. I like green tea, and I also drink. What's that? I can't think of the name of it right now, but it's a greenish tea that's like a Ozempic. It's supposed to boost your GLP-1s naturally, which is I can't think of the name of it right now.
I mean,
It'll
I might
come
be
to
willing
me.
to do something like the drug might be bad for me, but if there's something that can do the same effect without giving me the, help me, but without giving me the side effects, I would try it. So if there's a tea that's out there, that might be worth trying.
It's
I'm just saying, I every once in a while I do have tea too, like when I
yerba mate. Yerba mate tea.
Okay, I'll look into it. I like I don't like to just do things at a drop of a hat. I know it seems like I do, but I mean, it took me before I even considered doing full carnivore. It took me about 4 years before I actually went full force into it. So
yeah,
I didn't just go in blindly. I knew.
It's the other Rick. Okay, so Sandy's getting sleepy. I enjoyed. Thanks, Thomas and Amy. Thank you for coming. And Carl, I know, Evelyn, I'm giving you a hard time. I know who Carl is. Carl is Evelyn's husband.
I assumed.
Ooh. And Rick and Sherry were both dancers when we were young. So, yes. Did you guys do ballroom dancing? I did ballroom dancing for a short stint. I'm not that coordinated, though, so I'll stick to singing. I mean, I can do like the 80s, the sprinkler head and the lawnmower and stuff like that.
I mean, I actually
there's Carrie.
From my sister.
Carrie, no worries. We're glad you're here. And Papa thought Evelyn was dating.
Carrie, I fell asleep too while we were here.
And what does this mean? I am the carnivore cold fish. What does that mean?
Rick, it's not enough that you're the duck man, and it's not enough that you're you also have to be a cold fish too. Like,
yeah, make up your mind, Rick.
You have to take every animal out there to be a part of. I mean, come on.
Oh, let's see. I'm at 9. Oh my gosh, I'm 15 minutes behind.
Just keep on going.
Okay, how are you feeling today, Peter S?
I am feeling fantastic, Peter. My sugars are a little high. They're about 162, but I'm feeling very good. I took insulin once today, and that was it. That's all I needed to take. So he's actually been helping me with my sugars, and he texts me and asks me how my sugars are. He's he's following through the name Papa. You know.
Okay, so Rick is going to bed too. Good night, Rick. We're losing people, so
Is that the Rick the dancer? Because I
yeah,
know.
that's Dancer Rick.
Because can you imagine Rick Charger Mopar being a dancer?
Actually, I could, yes,
I don't
but
know.
it would be more like 50s sock hop
Well,
type
okay.
of stuff. Like,
Well, no, I picture him more like just like the you know yeah, I guess like around that time frame.
oh gosh, Peter, everyone wants a little piece of Papa Carnivore. Peter after dark. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay.
And Evelyn or Sherry says, I don't think you have an accent, Thomas. Every once in a while, I notice
And if
I notice.
Sherry, if I do, I do. If I don't, I don't. I'm sure part of CB's sexiness is from his accent. So, you know.
Good night, Evelyn. We love you. Okay, everybody has to behave now. My moderator's going to bed.
Now they're
And
going to be even worse.
Good night, Rick. LOL. Lamb says, okay, I live in the northern part of Missouri. I live near Columbia, Missouri, or AKA Mizzou country. Go Tigers. That's awesome.
I have no idea who the Tigers are, but you know, I figure I'd still root for them.
All right, let's see.
So, Harry, are you still lost in the middle of the forest, or were you lost in the middle of the forest and Carnivore took you out of it? Just asking. Sorry.
Can you read this comment, Tom?
How about dumpster steak?
I mean, I would consider dumpster steak a tad bit more than chicken, but probably still a no for me because
it'd be depending on if I found out after I ate it or before I ate it would be the dependency.
Good night, lambs. Have a good night.
And if I do have it, it better be a damn good steak. Excuse the
language. No, I won't eat raw chicken. Period. I won't eat raw chicken. I won't eat raw pork.
Well, something tells me he cooks the chicken when he finds it in the dumpster. It's probably raw when he finds it, but he probably cooks it afterwards.
I was thinking more of like already cooked rotisserie chicken.
It's raw. You know, I can't see Rick doing that. Rick can do some crazy things, but I don't think that's one of them. I do
believe him when he says this. I've never gotten sick from roadkill or dumpster meats. Because you have done it so much, you know what to look for.
Well, he's probably grown an immune system to it. That's probably what it is.
Raw chicken from the dumpster. I think I would eat like crickets before I could eat that, maybe.
And like I said, I don't know. I mean, it depends on how it's presented and stuff like that. Like, it depends on how.
Yeah, just don't tell me.
Yeah, I mean, if I don't know, then how would it hurt me, you know? And once I have it, I've already had it. So once I find out after, then what am I going to do? Like, be like, oh, okay, you know, like wait until I eat it, wait until I finish it, and then like a couple hours later, oh, by the way, did you know that was dumpster chicken? Like, I got that out the dumpster.
Great. Rick's going to pull that on me when I come visit him one day and at his meetup. He's going to feed me the dumpster chicken. I'm not going to know.
Well, and I don't worry about that too much because I don't think he's really going to be making the food. He's going to just.
Well, I want the delicacies. I want what are those? Muscovy duck.
And, you'd have to go
iguana.
To I don't think he's going to do it when you. Are you going to the Hack Your Health? Oh no, okay. I know Juliet's going. I know Lewis is going. I don't know if Papa's going or not.
Are you going?
No, I can't afford it. It's
I mean,
there's no way I'm going to get enough money to travel and everything like that in such a short time. You know.
Well, and I already went to Florida this year in the spring for a choir concert, and then I'm going to Vegas next year for my nephew's wedding. So it's kind of like one.
I'm hoping, and I'm putting this out there. I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to save for next year, go next year, and I'm hoping Rick will be there again next year. I'm hoping a lot of these people will be there. But with my luck, he'll be like, already did that, so we're not going to go this year. So I'll have like very few people that are famous going. You know, like Lewis will be like, I don't feel like going. You know, I'm not going to go. And I'll be like, you crummy fool.
And Josephine says we call white birds with red armpits dumpster chicken and not allowed to eat them. I don't know what that is.
Here we
Are
call
they geese?
with arm. I don't think geese have red armpits.
I've never seen a white bird with red armpits.
Yeah, I don't know. No, I knew Josephine because she's the one who actually did that. You know that painting I have that's with all my lives? Josephine
Yes. She did. I wonder where that came from.
painted it. Well, I had something I drew, and I think she copied it. She did the painting, but the painting is actually hers. She actually did that.
Oh, he also gets dumpster fats to make the tallow. Yeah, it's easy to know if meat's okay or not okay by smelling it.
Of course.
And then Amy says, I know we met. I was talking to type 1 diabetic. Y'all were talking about the volleyball player. Yes, that's
Oh,
Paul.
okay. She
Paul.
didn't meet Paul. Okay, I get you. Well, Paul said he knew her from Facebook, so it doesn't mean they necessarily. You know,
Oh,
on Facebook that I never actually met. I've never heard him sing either, but it's been talked about that he's really. I haven't heard he sing. So
he sang on one of the private lives, I think, on one of Mitch's Thursday night lives, and oh my gosh,
I didn't see it. And I know Lori can sing, but I've never heard her actually sing.
I've never heard her sing either, but we've talked about getting together and doing singing together.
I mean, I've heard Russ sing. I've heard you sing, obviously, because you just sang.
I just sing Happy Birthday. That's about all I sing. Because I have a terrible time remembering songs, so I really can't sing much else without.
I mean, I guess some guys would like it, but as long as you don't sing it like Marilyn Monroe to the president, like.
No, I don't sing like that.
That would be kind of weird, but that was a joke, but bad joke. Happy birthday.
Yeah, this is Paul from Grit and T1 Normal. Okay, so they are in the same group. And CB says, I've sang in a few bands. I have some. Ooh, CB, I want to hear this. That's pretty freaking awesome. I sang in a blues rock band.
So CB.
Before I got married. Yes, CB's a singer too. Wow.
CB has CDs.
Yeah. Where do I get a copy of one of these?
Then now you got to be on my channel, CB, and sing one of your CDs.
Yeah. Rick says, I'm seriously thinking of doing a Mr. Rogers parody. That would be funny. Mr. Rick's Neighborhood. You do it. Yes, that would be so funny. Yes. I thought Evelyn said night. Maybe she was talking to somebody else.
Maybe.
Yep. So I do.
I do. Night and I never actually leave.
I know. I gotta let you go soon. You gotta go to bed. But I just wanted to say one thing about music. So I sing in two choral groups, and what we learned in the PhD community, stress reduction, breathing, humming, singing are all methods of stress reduction, right? So when I go to my choir rehearsals 2 nights a week, not only are you doing lots of breathing in and reoxygenating yourself, but the singing and the reading the music and the singing the songs. Like right now we're working on Christmas music, but it's like stress relief to me. I know it's like extra things in my schedule, but my husband doesn't get it. Like singing is stress relief for me. It's like I can go there, I can focus on music and not focus on the other stuff. It's awesome. Yep. And they've chatted many times. Might be a viral video. What if Mr. Rogers was carnivore instead of plant-based? Oh, Carl's sleeping. Go put some makeup on his face or something. Just kidding. Yes, yerba mate. Lewis says yerba mate. Yep.
Yeah, actually, Lewis texted me on doing an Amazon yerba mate.
Yep. I make the tea, and what's his name? Victor at Southern Keto. He has an actual drink that you make that's supposed to help lose weight. Now, I drink the tea to help appetite cravings, and it does work. And Cranky Carnivore also says allulose has an effect like GLP-1 agonist without the side effects. I've heard that too. Oh, thank you, Peter. I like when Amy sings. Can you tell my husband that? No, just kidding. I once had a boyfriend that said I could turn AC/DC into a love song.
Okay.
Not sure about Rick, but yes, ballroom, and I taught and competed in swing. Oh, swing would be fun. Okay, I'm trying to catch up here. I'm never catching up. I'm sure someone knows what a cold fish is. Thomas explained this to me. Maybe a codfish.
Well,
Captain.
Cold fish would be cold. To me, it would be cold fish. I mean, what it means in the term, I don't know, but cold fish is a cold fish, just like a hot fish is a hot fish.
And Paul says, "Hey, Lewis, my friends who were in town made me take them to Tahoo's last week and immediately thought of you when asked about me about garbage plates." Yes. I had to ask Paul what a garbage plate was. I remember about that. Just made cuppa, lol. And Rick says, yes, 1950s dance for sure.
So you and Milton do the sock hop then together?
Yeah. Oh, cold fish is an informal term of a person who is emotionally reserved, aloof, and lacks cordiality or sympathy, appearing unfriendly and unsympathetic to others. I do not know that.
Okay. I don't know if that fully describes Rick, though.
I think Rick has a lot of sympathy and empathy towards people because he's always going, he just shows it maybe in different ways. He's always helping people. He's always helping people.
I think what it is with Rick, and Rick, I hope you don't get offended by this. I think it's with him being carnivore so long, he just doesn't understand the things that we have gone through from not being carnivore. So yeah. It's sort of like just a confusion, just a misunderstanding. It's almost like when you have that really smart kid that's really, really smart, and he doesn't really understand why some of the other kids aren't understanding certain things. It's like sort of like
that's Rick.
And I think that's sort of Rick.
Yep.
I really
Rick's very smart.
Yeah.
Evelyn's still here. Sorry, I got confused.
Oh, Rick left. Okay.
Yes, Sherry. Yes, Lynn. If they had DWTS in my day, I would be famous.
DWTS. I'm trying to think what that is.
Some sort of dance, maybe. Jerry's still here. The quack remains. All my dumpster meats are washed and cooked. Yes, Rick.
Okay, so what's his name? I'm looking for something, and Rick already knows what I'm looking for. I got it. I got to show this because.
Did you draw that?
Yeah.
I wish I had my sound effects, but I don't right now because my sound wasn't working and you popped in really early. But that's awesome.
Well, I don't know what sound effect you would do for Target Prime Rib. I mean, that's one thing I don't have is a sound effect.
That's awesome.
I mean, what kind of sound is?
Well, I have a duck sound for Rick.
Oh, for Rick, yeah.
That goes with the twerking duck video, and it's got some like music. Yeah. This is what scares me, Brian.
Not even Mitch's duck sound could beat that. I drew that.
So, I'm pretty sure Rick saw this. I think it's Shift. This one.
Yeah.
I have music that goes with it, but now I can't get it off the screen there.
The twerking duck.
Yes. Oh, I do have something for you. I do think I have like some sort of stake thing too.
Can I stake my life on it?
Oh, that's funny.
Sorry.
I don't know where it is.
I mean, I can sometimes be a little clever. I'm very. There are people that said to me they don't understand the concept, but when I named my lives "Chewing the Fat," I thought that was pretty clever.
Here you go.
Steaks from heaven.
No, I can't get it off there.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
trying to catch it.
Trying to catch them. Iguana, rattlesnake.
Pokemon steaks. Catch them if you can.
Ew, python, no.
Iguana.
Okay.
Can you imagine iguana rattlesnake? I would be so afraid to see that.
Is that like a turducken? Where you put the
No, but an actual
duck
animal,
inside, the turkey
actual
inside of the
animal is
duck,
half
and then
rattlesnake and half iguana. That would be.
well, maybe the rattlesnake or the python ate the iguana, and then you just cook it with it inside of it.
I mean, turducken's not bad. I had that once. It's not bad.
What would you call it?
I don't know.
Pythona? I don't know.
And well, if it's only rattlesnake and
Nightfall.
iguana, you need a third one in there. So would that be the Muscovy duck? So duck
When did it?
rattled iguana?
Evelyn, when did AMO get canceled? I was planning on going to that. I thought it got canceled and then re-put on.
I've
That's
never
sad.
heard of AMO, so I don't know.
That's near Indianapolis, and it's about 3.5 hours from south from where I'm at. I'm going to start collecting iguana skins for a new bike seat.
And are
Tons
you going
of
to videotape
pythons.
it too, Rick?
Oh, man. I'm going to have to message Dustin to confirm because I don't believe it. I mean, I believe you guys. I'm not calling you liars or anything. I'm just sad.
I don't know about you calling them all liars like that. That's not nice.
Cranky says we have diamondback, Mojave, rattlesnakes, no iguanas. Okay, how far am I? Okay, I probably gotta let Thomas go here. It's like 9:30.
We're fine. I mean, if we stayed until 10, that should be fine. So 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. So it's 5 hours. So
That's not enough
like
for me.
6 hours. 6 hours because I'll wake up.
Yes. Yeah, Lynn, I was gonna go to the AMO meetup too. I'm doing 2 more paintings, Josephine says, but Rick's is hard as there's so much I could put in the painting. And you also do that was your drawing, right? Thomas, you do drawings. Yeah, you're good at drawing too.
Yeah, a lot of people don't, I guess, don't
Man.
realize that I have that kind of talent. I haven't used it in quite a while, but
Josephine says I finished David from DC rebuilding. He said he liked. Cool. Yeah,
Wait, he liked Ya? Who's Ya? Who's
Ya.
he talking about?
He liked it. Yeah.
Oh, like okay, that's cool.
So I only got.
David.
Oh, go ahead.
Nice guy.
Yeah. Evelyn, I only got to see part of Dustin's live because I go to church. I sing at church on Sunday morning, so I missed part of it. That's also why I'm not Mitch's live on Sundays.
Yes. Well, Kilts too is pretty early in the morning, you know. But if except for today when I actually overslept, if you ever don't see me on Mitch's live or Kilt's live, it's because I was working.
Rick says he's in the PFD community, and what that means is pick from dumpster.
See, Rick can be funny.
He's very funny. And Evelyn says, I love singing Christmas music. I wish you were here to sing Christmas music with me, Evelyn.
Oh, I love Christmas.
I wonder, can you get copyright strike from singing Christmas music?
Probably.
Like,
I don't know about from singing it, but I know, like
playing it on the piano and singing
I actually got blocked on one of my videos because I played a song from Billy Joel. And this is the weird thing. Billy Joel did a concert many, many years ago where he went to Russia. And he played in a concert from Russia. Okay. And I think the song was like New York State of Mind or something like that. I forget what the song was. But unfortunately, I got noticed saying I'm blocked in certain areas. It wasn't every area, but I was blocked in certain areas. And I had 2 songs in the video. I actually had that and Bye Bye American Pie, but I was blocked because of the Billy Joel song. And ended up the blockage came from Russia. And I'm like, wasn't he in Russia? Like, why would they be objected to me playing like Billy Joel in Russia? That made no sense to me, you know. So, you know, sometimes you never know. So I took the song out and got unblocked, even though technically speaking, so I don't get people in Russia. Like, what does it matter to me, you know? Like,
Peter says he'd eat pick from dumpster meat.
I'm sure Rick has a good way of cooking it, so I probably, you know,
I have no doubt he would not eat anything that's not safe.
right.
I don't think he'd be here to live and tell about it if he
No.
if he didn't. Yeah, I'm bummed too. Man, Dustin, you still here? He's not here.
No,
Oh my gosh. Aaron Booby Goats is here. Yeah,
Hey,
also
Aaron.
talking. I'm trying to
Y'all
get through
still
all the
talking?
comments.
I like how she says y'all. Y'all still talking?
Rick says he's picked a T-bone from the dumpster more than once. And Lewis confirms that yerba mate boosts your natural GLP-1. It's great. I like the taste. I actually like the taste too. And what I like to do is I like to make a big 40 ounce. And one thing Victor Southern Keto says is you can brew the same tea leaves more than once. So I make a big 40 ounce mug of it, and then I put a teaspoon of my unflavored electrolytes in it. It's like drinking chicken broth. It's salty like broth. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, you know, I mean, if it doesn't affect me in the same way of the stomach, I'd be willing to try it, you know, because it could be because it's a medication, like it's the drug that's affecting my stomach. It might not even.
Papa says he might call PFD meat pretty freaking disgusting.
But you notice how you put LOL and the laughies in there?
Yes, we know.
Like we knew it was a joke, you know.
Okay, so Rick.
There are people out there that wouldn't get it, you know.
Yeah, Rick describes Coldfish as someone who does not get excited to date. And Lewis's garbage plates and Rick's garbage plates have two different meanings. Oh, so Jackie was not available. And he wasn't going without pumpkin sausage soup, but Jackie does a lot of the planning. Yeah. Well, that's sad. There's no one your type. So your type is Dr. Baker with a wig, a blonde wig.
Rick, you can have them.
Rick, you might put your date to sleep because your voice. That is true. Rick has a very soothing date. Yeah, Dr. Baker wearing a blonde wig. For sure. Thomas is right. It is hard for me to understand how anyone would willingly eat duck food. Okay, let me get dancing. Oh, DWTS stands for Dancing with the Stars. Gotcha. Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, I didn't pick up that.
I used to watch it all the time, but after like the 19th season,
so
Thomas is drawing is making me hungry.
Rick's insulin is rising just looking at your drawing. Quack. Oh, that is a very, very good drawing.
Actually, you know, drawing I should do next is Milton as Iguana Boy.
Yes. I
That
saw
will
the
be
ducky.
a while before I do that because I have, you know.
Target Prime sound effects could be sizzling sounds than a gunshot.
My sound effects?
Yes. Target, and then sizzling, and then because you're Target.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. I thought you were talking about my sound effects. Like I'm doing sound effects. I'm like, when am I doing effects?
Cranky says iguanathon. That's like a turducken, but an iguanathon. That's good. I'd rather have turducken, turkey, duck, and chicken than tofurkey. Tofu turkey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in church when Dustin announced it. And Kendra's here. Welcome, Kendra. It's okay. We're glad you showed up. Let me see. Yeah, people telling Kendra hi. Yes. And soon, outdoor live streams. Yeah, that sounds like fun. I have to set up a long range Wi-Fi so I can do the live from the canal.
I have to give Rick some credit. I mean, he does things a little differently, but I do love his lives. He's very creative on how he does them, and I just love the difference that he has. I think that's what does it. We all have a different style, but Rick does a pretty good job.
It's Aaron's 3-year-old daughter's birthday. I gotta sing happy birthday again. Sorry, Thomas. I gotta let you go. I gotta let you go soon. No. But I know you need to go soon. But I'm gonna sing happy birthday to Aaron's 3-year-old daughter, Rocky. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Rocky. Happy birthday to you and many more.
There. You heard me sing.
Were you mouthing the words?
Did I? No. Happy birthday to you. No, I was singing. I would never.
You have a good voice.
Thank you.
Yes. And Cranky says there's likely to be a copyright on Billy Joel's music in every country. What's squab again?
Squab's like some kind of bird. I'm not sure. It's like a pigeon.
I've never had it, but Cranky's had it
throughout my childhood. Yeah. I think it's like a pigeon type bird. Like it's like kind of like quail type thing, if I'm not mistaken. John or Rick, you both can correct me on that if I'm mistaken. But I don't want to hear from anybody else. I just want to hear from John and Rick.
Okay. I think I could come up with a gunshot and a sizzle sound effect. Yes, that's it. Maybe I can come to the May meetup. Plus, I'm just having surgery, so maybe it's better for me that they canceled the November one. And Rick says my live stream is sponsored by Solid Waste.
I want you to make now, Rick. I'm sorry, you got to make a commercial stating that.
You have to make a natural gas poop commercial. Poop gas, strawberry flavored poop gas commercial.
These are from the people of Gas X.
Today's live stream is sponsored by.
Just like Aaron would do that for her lives. Like today's channel is sponsored by Butter Woman.
Oh my gosh, guess what? Oh, squab is a young pigeon. I don't know if I would eat pigeon, maybe.
I didn't know you were on the chat. I would have included you to tell me, Brian, but I didn't know you were I didn't realize you were in the chat. So.
We're caught up. Can you believe it?
Well, there's the one down below that says "Welcome, Thomas, to Target Prime Rib." So, that's just a greeting.
You know. Well, I'm gonna let you go because I know you have to get up very early tomorrow.
I do. But I'm gonna first finish this.
And I want to thank you for coming on.
Thank you for inviting me.
I appreciate it. Yes, and if you ever just need someone to fill a time slot, I would come back on and we can talk about whatever.
Yeah, I mean, we can definitely do. I just want to fill in.
Fill in with people that you haven't talked to.
You know what? I mean, like I want, I would love to have you on for my, like I said, I'm going to be leaving I may be leaving for like a month or so. So I wouldn't mind having somebody to be on for my grand return.
That'd be awesome.
Because
maybe we can talk about our carnivore updates.
Yeah.
Because by then I would have been a carnivore by 6 months.
Okay.
And then you can talk about what you've done on your time off.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm going to assume I'm going to be optimistic here that I'm going to be a lot better than I am now. Because I think I've improved so much since I first started, and it's just going uphill every time. So, and people still, I'm not leaving. I'm just going to calm down on the chats, but I'm going to still be out there, I just, so, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And like I said, if people do want to come on and they say, hey, on January 7th, I want to be on your channel, then I'll do it. I probably won't say no. I'll be like, okay, I'll wait to do, or I might stop because I get enough volunteers. But right now it's just hard to get people. You know how it is. It's not easy.
And you are officially my longest live stream.
Am I?
You're my Gary. Yes.
That's why I was like staying on because, I'm surprised Rick wasn't your longest. Rick can talk.
I think it was his was 2 hours, I think.
Okay. Did he cut it short on purpose, or was it just?
No, he just has so many interesting things to say. Like you,
Well,
you have a lot of interesting things to
you
say.
know what it was? Milton was probably like tugging on his like pant leg and saying, "Come on, get out of here."
Feed me, yeah.
You have to iguana to hunt, So you get a lot of chats. I see, like, I wasn't able to read the chats, but according to this, it says there were 655 things.
I know. That's why it took 3 hours to get through everything.
Yeah.
Now, everybody stick around because I'm going to go ahead and put the rolling credits up. I don't know if there will be sound to them tonight because I didn't get that set up, but thank you all for joining. I'm going to go ahead and end the live stream. And I'm going to play the ending credits so that everyone can be acknowledged who participated in the live stream. And thank you, Thomas, so much for being my awesome guest. And I hope you have a good evening tonight.
I will. I'll have very good sleep, dreaming of great Carnivore.
All right, here we go, everybody.